Testing, testing. There we go. I'm not gonna lie. This is some pretty good ice cream. I'm eating cookie and cream ice cream, and it's very delicious. So I do apologize. I will mute myself when I eat it, though. Don't worry. You guys don't have to listen to my disgusting mouth sound. I couldn't help myself though. I just really wanted ice cream. So we also just have some pretty chill music in the background. I just wanted something in the background. It'd be kind of weird if it was just completely quiet. So it kind of be like that. So all right, let me finish this ice cream real quick because I feel like it's gonna distract me. So yeah, we'll be starting shortly. So I'll go over what we're gonna be doing tonight. It's just gonna be pretty chill tonight. I'm not really expecting to do anything too crazy, but yeah, I'll go over that in just a moment. Let me just finish this ice cream.
Nigel approves of your hosting of me.
Alright, we're back. Alright, sorry about that. I got very hungry. Well, I was eating ice cream and I wanted to finish it before I actually started, so... Well, actually, the original plan was I was going to eat the ice cream as I streamed, but then I realized I really like ice cream. And I hadn't had some in forever, so I just had a bowl just now, so... Let me get my drink. It's chill night. Ooh, okay. I gotta to shake off some of the drowsiness I feel right now. I'm not gonna go to bed right now, but I was tempted to go to bed early tonight, but I'm probably gonna stay up tonight because I don't work tomorrow. I start my full-time job Tuesday, so tomorrow is when I get everything settled and I actually, you know, yeah, but whatever, that's not what we're here for tonight. Oh, jeez. Okay, let's see. Yes, so tonight is a very interesting night. I haven't done a stream like this in a very long time. I don't think I've actually done a proper Unity map development stream for The Wanderer since 2018. I remember now. Before I even started streaming regularly in late 2018, I think it was like July 2018. Oh, sorry, one sec. Oh, excuse me. I think it was July 2018, and I was streaming, working on the Wanderer 2.0 version. I remember I remember specifically streaming, modeling the main building of the Wanderer on Twitch for some reason. I don't remember why I did it, but I know I did. It was like, yeah, it was definitely like July 2018. The VODs for that are gone though. That was before I archived stuff. So that was like, those VODs are long gone, but I still remember doing that, so. But I thought it was about high time that I sit down. I'm sorry, I'm like wiping my mouth, sorry. I'm gross, I'm just trying to keep it clean. I thought that it was high time that I give you guys kind of a tour of the map on the Unity side of things, because for the most part, you don't really get to see the back end of what the Wanderer has to offer, and in terms of how I have everything set up. So this is kind of a stream to kind of show that off and just go through all the systems I have and stuff. This is also kind of a QA thing, so if you want to ask any questions about me, if you're curious about anything, how I set stuff up, etc., etc. I'm sorry if you're squeaking in the background, that's a dog toy. If you have any questions for me, you're more than welcome to ask me. This is a perfect time to do so. I'm gonna make sure that the noise on my microphone's right. One sec. Alright, there we go. But this is a great time to ask questions. So, but I'm probably gonna do this for about an hour or two, and then I might be joining some friends for Phasmophobia because I've been playing that a lot recently. But we're gonna go ahead and do this. So, I need to actually see if this looks good on the stream, because I heard that Unity capturing is kind of a pain, but I don't know if it works on stream. So I'm gonna switch over to it now. And I don't have, oh no, I have it set up here. There we go. There we go. Okay, I don't know what that looks like on the stream. Well, I know what it looks like as a preview, but it should look fine. But if there's any weird issues, let me know. Because OBS preview just shows that it's perfectly fine. But I've heard there have been a few issues with streaming and stuff. I do have a little bit of a background around the view as well. As you can see, I just put that there to fill in the black space on the bottom and top, because the resolution of like the OBS window is not the same as my resolution of the monitor capturing, so it's like of the window of, yeah, blah blah blah. Okay, alright, where do we even start? Yes, no, the extra space is fine. That's intentional. Because it's only capturing the window, the Unity window. It's not capturing like my actual desktop view. So that's why the window looks like that. I put a little background here as I can like show on stream real quick. So if I just like take that out, it's just a background. So that's what that is. So you don't have to worry about that. That's normal. So let me turn the music volume down. Music volume's fine actually. If it's too loud, just let me know. Okay, so let's say, you know, on any average day, I'm gonna start working on something. Okay, well, this is the Wanderer project. This is everything I have set up in the scene. So this is the Unity window. I mean, obviously, it's pretty basic overview. You know, you have Inspector plus all of these other windows. You know, like the VRC SDK. I have the lighting window, which I don't really use this window anymore. Because I use this window for lighting now. This is my bakery lighting settings and stuff. So when I go to do a light map bake, I just click render and it'll start rendering the lighting and stuff, yada yada yada. So I use this instead of this window anymore. I use this window instead of this window for lighting. So, and then this just tells me all the lights in the scene. It's a good way for me to see if all the lights are baked, because I like to keep all the lights baked because they're static and they're not going to cause performance issues. Because, you know, mixed lights, real-time lights have a bit of a performance overhead. I have an occlusion tab, which this is the occlusion culling for the map. It looks kind of weird here, but that's because it's based off the main camera. So it's like everything behind the view is occluding. So this is how the occlusion culling kind of works. So if I were to just rotate this camera, you can see that how the occlusion culling works, because it'll unocclude stuff that you see, and then it'll occlude stuff you can't see. So there you go. That's how occlusion culling works. And then I just bake it. I just bake the occlusion culling, usually. All I have to do is just go down here and click bake. Navigation is just a nav mesh of the map. This is something that I only have to generate once. And I just click on any object that I think people are going to be walking on. So like the nav mesh will bake into the terrain. You walk on the terrain, you walk on the second floor, the first floor. And this is kind of how I actually use a script that auto places light probes for me, and this is how I start it. It bases it off the nav mesh, generally speaking, but I don't do that as much anymore. So nav mesh is kind of just meh. I don't really use it that much. And then this is just a random tab I don't have to use. So but these are all the interesting tabs. You know, the inspector for all the like the settings of stuff and whatnot. Now we're gonna go do the inspector, the hierarchy next, because I have my hierarchy set up in a very interesting way. So this is all the stuff in the actual scene, and as you can tell, there's a lot of stuff here, and it's all parent. There's a lot of parented objects as well, so it's much bigger than this. Generally, I try to put stuff in little categories, so I usually have like the name of what the category is, an empty game object with the name, and then it has like lines just divided up, and then usually it's based on when it ends to the next one. So then as you can see, like the cutouts are in their own category. So all the cutouts are in one thing. And this is how I disable the cutouts with the toggle, is I just disable this one game object right here. It's very easy to do it that way. So then you have these like little sections. So I can kind of go through and be like, oh, we got structures. So it's like, okay, we have Star Camp, which is the name of, I call this a Star Camp, this little thing right here. I can do this to turn the, I can use this button to turn off the lighting in the scene, so there's no lighting, so. Well, this is what it looks like normally, and then this is, I can toggle the scene lighting off. So it's just deep like this, so this is a good way to do stuff if I don't want like to have to look in the dark. So this is what the Star Camp is, little telescope. And that's in the structure, so it's all parented. It was not parented to these objects, they're just like right under it in the hierarchy. It keeps it organized. That's the thing. It keeps it organized. And then you got the areas, all the different areas in the map and stuff, you know, etc., etc. You know, basement. Oh, one sec. Sorry, I was talking outside my door. But yeah, these are the general different areas of the map. As you can tell, by default, most of them are disabled. Save for like the closet and the rooms and stuff. Those are, I think those disable when you spawn in. I think they're occluded, one of the two. So yeah, you got the Wanderer, which is the actual building and everything, and a lot of stuff inside of it. There's also a lot of different parented items.
The Wanderer is pretty much just everything you see in the building. It's usually all parented into one object, which is a massive object. It's a lot of stuff here. If anything, I need to go back and like clean up this because there's so much like random stuff in here I don't need, I think. But yeah, it's kind of extensive. The caves. Oh yeah, this is another cool thing. Some of you, if you guys are curious where things are actually in the scene, I can actually show you real quick. Hold up. Let's just zoom out here real quick. Oh yeah, this is what the Wanderer looks like if you exit the crater. There's nothing out here. It's just all flat plain, generally speaking. I do plan on doing something with all this eventually, but that's just something I haven't worked on yet. It takes a while to work on stuff like that. And then you got the little crater wall that I've set up here. So, but if you're curious where the stuff is, so spawn is right here, and the depths caves are actually located back behind here. Let me actually zoom in more. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see it. Yeah, it's like located under. All the stuff in the map is usually located under the terrain. So, like, if you actually go up here, it's like, yeah, the caves are like basically under the terrain. Well, not technically. They're kind of under the terrain, like half and half. But yeah, so like if you were to walk on top of this terrain, and you get like right here and you listen, you could probably hear someone below you in the caves. It's weird, yeah. It's not the actual placement of the caves in lore, but it's like it's just here because I needed to put it somewhere in the scene. Yeah, the caves are here. There's a lot of stuff here. Oh yeah, fun fact, another cool thing most people don't know about. I don't think is it still here? Yeah, here it is. There's an entire section of this cave that just is not used. I made it. And this is where the next section of the cave was supposed to be. It's like this like one weird section where like you come in through the tunnel, through the rock entrance here, and then you come down here, and it's supposed to be like this giant like tunnel deep down. But I never actually did anything with it. I gotta get around to doing something eventually, but it's just kind of here, so that's just kind of a thing there. So, and that's the caves for the most part. They're doing pretty good. I have some weird systems to get the caves working, like the mesh itself doesn't have a collider on it. It has an empty game object that has the collider for it on it. So it's technically two objects that make up the caves, kinda, in a way. And then there's just everything else in here. So, you know, all the crystals and stalagmites and stuff. It's all kind of here, so. Ooh, okay. That, and I can tell I have Pro Builder and Bakery here. So Pro Builder is how I can make like random objects in the scene. I think a good chunk of the map is still technically Pro Builder, and I do need to fix that sometime. Because I don't want everything to be Pro Builder. I want to convert it all to normal objects eventually. And then Bakery this is what I do for the open preview. So if I want to see what the map's lighting looks like before I bake it, I can use the preview to actually check that. So I'm gonna turn the music down a little bit. It's a little loud for me. Hold on. That's a little better. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. There we go. Yeah, I still have Pro Builder in the scene, although I have been making efforts to convert everything away from Pro Builder, and any new things I work on, I don't use Pro Builder for anymore. I tend to do everything in Blender these days. Like the campsite, the gazebo, the hot springs, those were all made in Blender directly, and then I imported them. I try not to use Pro Builder these days. That's what I'm trying to say. And the reason why is just because I don't want there to be a weird issue where like Pro Builder is incompatible with the Unity version, and then like my entire map just breaks because everything is Pro Builder. So that's why I try to convert over to it. I'm trying to see what else I can show you guys. I'm just gonna go through pretty much everything in the map, honestly. There's a lot of cool stuff here. Yeah, Scotsman's over here. His animation origin starts right here, and then he kind of just like loops up and down the road, so gonna see him just do his thing. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, the Scotsman Walk 2.0, because the original version of the Wanderer also had Scotsman in it at one time. Actually, I think it still does. If I can actually open the scene for that later, I'll show you guys the old version of the Wanderer because I still have the Unity scene for it. So, but yeah, and then aside from that, you know, the bunny encounter stuff is over here. That's where all that, you can go inside the caves from there if you want to, or you can jump directly into here. So I'd put a little shortcut right there if I wanted to. And then you got the actual building itself, all the scarecrows up at the moment. Speaking of which cutouts moving is an animation. Oh yeah, speaking of which cutouts moving is an animation. You talking about like which ones animate? I mean, I know the one in my room animates, like this one. Are you curious how they animate? I mean, let me, if I remember correctly. I have a weird system for it, actually. Actually, if I remember correctly, I think it's like... Oh yeah, it's just a simple animation of enabling and disabling it. Like, Innkeeper Run 1 is 1 frame, then it disables it and it enables the other frame, and then it disables it and enables the other frame. It just loops that over and over again. That's how I get that to run. So, and it does it for both sides. For the actual Scotsman, I mean, it's just as simple as... Oh, yeah, I think I know what you're trying to ask now. Okay. So the thing about Scotsman, I don't actually animate the individual quads that make him up. I actually animate a parent object that these two, like, planes are parented to, and I animate that. I don't animate, like, each quad, and then the audio source is parented to it. I just animate this one thing, and then I just, you know, I move it up and down the scene. You know, I'll just go to animation, and then I'll make a new clip, and then I can click this button, and I can just start moving him, and it'll record the progress, and then you just kind of do that. I had to do that for the Horseman encounter, and boy, I think you guys are gonna like the Horseman when I show you how his encounter works, because my lord, that took me forever to do. I'll get to that in just a minute. I want to keep going through a few more things here. We went to the basement, right? Yeah, that was the Headless Horseman encounter. Oh yeah, I didn't show you guys all the categories. Sorry about that. I got a little carried away there. We've got the cutouts, we got areas, different areas of the maps usually go here. Lighting and reflections, this is where all my reflection probes, and every single light in the scene is usually here as well. Furniture is kind of just a weird one. This is where I put all the chairs in the map under one object, and then I disable them. This is also where the stuff behind the bar is as well. Well, technically, only really that and that. Oh yeah, and then there's like a bunch of different furniture that I have parented to one object as well. This is how I make it to where you disable it when you want to get performance back. So I parent it all to one object, one empty game object, I might add, and then I just parent everything to it. And the drink area, and then the grill, and then the table menus, and yeah. I have tools. I think tools, if I remember correctly, the tools is kind of just like different like mechanics, like the window blind systems, the doors in the Wanderer, the pipes outside, the open closed curtains of the stage, the door in the basement. This is also where all the toggles are at spawn. Oh yeah, if you're curious how I do toggles as well, they're kind of complicated. Well, they're not that complicated, but it depends, because like I tend to simplify my triggers by parenting everything to one empty game object and then disabling that object. So like, for instance, the pickup objects in the map are all under one game object that isn't pickupable. So, and then these are all just like the toggles are all just here. It's basically just as simple as an interact trigger, setting it to local, and then, you know, setting all the stuff I want false and setting the actual trigger that turns it back on the true, and then just rinse and repeat. Although, just realized I think there's like one thing missing. Oh, I know what it is. Okay, never mind. Oh yeah, are the credits like a cutout or? No, the credits are actual UI elements in Unity. So when you go to add a game object, I believe you can go to UI and then text, and then it'll make a new text item like this. So like I just added a new text item to this canvas because you have to put the text item on a canvas. It's weird. So like if let's say I do this, go to UI. Let's say I want to make some new text, so I'll make a canvas. It can be kind of weird because sometimes it does this. I don't want it to be a screen overlay. I want it to be world space, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've added actual new UI. It's been a while, but it's just UI. It's not like a cutout or anything. I could make it a cutout, but I'd have to type the text in a different program and then bring it in. I don't really feel like that. But yeah, all the credits are just this, and then I just have a bunch of text elements that I edit and stuff. So same with these as well. I just edit the patch notes, type in the text, etc., etc. Also, same with the Patreon stuff as well. I just threw the Patreon text stuff over here and put a button to toggle it on and off. Pretty simple. Nothing too crazy. Just a box collider for the actual trigger, and then an interact trigger that lets you turn it on and off, basically. Yep. And then that's pretty much the toggles. Sorry, I was like, let me go back up here. There we go. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, the tools, that's like all the different toggles. Like I said, they're all just kind of there. All the bells are here too. I also have, well, the portals are kind of outdated because I think they're all parented under the Wanderer object, but I might go fix that later. And then we have all the encounters. As you can tell, you know, the Killer Bunny is its own little separate thing. I couldn't actually keep it parented under the main object of the areas, so it's its own separate game object, and it's occluded. But it's still technically active in the scene no matter what. So I guess if you were kind of lucky, you could, like, if you look through the terrain, you might see it floating over there. But that's occluded, so you shouldn't be able to. And then you got the Killer Bunny areas, which by default I have them, you know, disabled and stuff, purposes. So if I just enable that, you can kind of see I have them all right here. You know, you're supposed to start right here, then you come down the cave. You get the lights and stuff with the cave paintings. You know, you come through here. Here's the trigger. Here's a light going through it to give off that red glow. You click on the trigger, it takes you straight over here, which actually they're like right next to each other, so it kind of like fits perfectly. And then this is the actual like cave area where you get lost with the bunny and stuff, and you have to find your way out, and essentially, so that's that. And then when you get hit by the bunny, it just takes you here, and then there's a post-processing volume, which is that weird green square that that makes your view dim, and then there's colliders to make it so you don't actually get out, walk away. And there's an animation that plays. I'll show you guys how all the animation stuff works here as well, because there's a lot of different systems I have for that. Jolly Roger stuff, that's the eyes that you see in different areas. I just put that there as a little flavor. I might have to go back and redo that eventually. Scotsman, he's technically not an encounter, but I kind of just put him under the category because it's kind of funny. The trash can, which is how you get to the trash pan. Click on it. Then the actual trash pan encounter, which is always active in the scene, but it's occluded, so you won't render it unless you actually spawn here. And then yeah, and then you just fall in here, and I'll go through each encounter and show you guys how the animators and stuff work, because there's a good amount of systems that go into place doing that. And then you got Steve Harvey, his coffin, which then teleports you to his actual like stage, which is over here. And then this is where you start the encounter. And then something you don't see is that all the different areas are actually just like all around it. If I enable them real quick, they're actually pretty big. They're actually quite large. They're just like all around it, basically, on this like side of the map, essentially. So if you actually walked up on the terrain, you would probably see it popping up over the terrain. Like I said, I'm gonna have to go back and kind of fix this when I actually make it to where you can, you know, go on the terrain. But for the time being, it works. So yeah, and then the tokens are just the sound effects that play when you click on them. I just have like weird. Well, actually, these don't work at the moment. I just realized that, so I'm gonna disable those for now. Then the occlusion cube. So when I go to actually bake occlusion culling, I put these like really big cubes between different areas so that if you're standing in the crater, you're not going to render the Harvey stuff unless you teleport there. So it'll be occluded for you if you're over here, but it will render if you come over here. That's what the occlusion does. It's how I make it to where you can still have some decent performance without having to render everything in the map. There's advantages to being inside of a crater, so I'll just tell you that. Okay, let's see. Fred. I mean, I still haven't added his teleport system back because I haven't been able to figure out how to like set it on a timer. The only thing I can really think of is having an animation that continuously loops, and throughout its animation, it will enable an object that has an on-enabled trigger that will then teleport him to one spot, which is probably how I'm going to actually do that. So, and I already have his teleport systems set up and stuff, like all the different locations he can teleport to. So this is like, yeah, If I can make it to where he randomly teleports, I think I could probably pull that off, but I haven't touched that yet. So he doesn't actually teleport at the moment, but there is a system in place that used to be there. Then the fireworks. I need to fix the fireworks. It's still not working. I forgot about that. Yeah, the fireworks don't have colliders, do they? I just realized that. Well, no. Well, they technically should. I might have to go back and fix it though. Something I'll worry about later. So. Where were we at? Yeah, the closet, different rooms, the private rooms stuff. Let's see what else we have. Yeah, all the tools, we went through that. Portals, encounters, that was what we're doing right now. Yeah, the Headless Horseman encounter. Oh, yeah, here he is. Little beautiful bastard. It's a complicated mess, I'll tell you that much. Jesus Christ. I forgot how complicated I made this. Yeah, so, fun story about the Headless Horseman. These water buckets were quite something to work on. They were very complicated to work on, and I actually am kind of proud of the fact that I was able to finally work on them. Because if you, I think it's like, is it the Raycast? What has Udon behavior? Yeah, so this is the first thing I've ever done in Udon, is this thing right here, the Udon behavior, and like this right here. This is the first Udon Sharp I've ever done before. So this is like something I've actually coded to get the raycasting working, which is, if you don't know what raycasting is, basically when you pick up these buckets, it will like send out a beam, and where it lands, it'll place the AoE like green circle effect there, and it'll just keep calculating where that is, so it'll just continuously do that, and that's what I programmed it to do. It's just a basic raycast, but it still took me some trial and error to get it working. And then from there, it's just like, we'll come back. Okay, I'm gonna come back to the Horseman, because I like that. I want to go through his encounter and show you guys how it works, but I want to go through all this first and then go through the other encounter. We'll save the Horseman for last, probably. And then the End Fire, which is part of the Horseman encounter. It's set up weirdly like this because of animation stuff, so you'll see. And then the weather, which the weather pretty much is just all the fireflies, and then the snow when winter comes around again. And also the auroras as well, which I'll be adding those back, I think in December, I believe. We'll get weather, we'll get all that stuff coming back. And then all the foliage, which is really, I think at this point, really it's just like the rocks around the campsite, the logs that are randomly strewn around, and then the background foliage that you see outside the crater perimeter, which is actually just a 2D image. That's just kind of like strewn around to make it look like it's 3D. So... and then the Halloween decorations for the holiday stuff. That's the only decorations we have at the moment. What I tend to do is I tend to make the decoration a prefab, and then I delete it from the scene because I want to save file space. So you can see all the decoration stuff in there, which is like all the blood veins and stuff, and then all that kind of stuff. I parent it onto one object just so you can disable it really easy. And then I have other things. So I got the mirror toggles, the light probes around the in-key in. So like for example. Here it looks kind of complicated when you see it like that, but here we take out the wireframe. Like here's the light probes for the actual in itself. You know, they're kind of just here. Outside crater has a lot of light probes, and if you don't know what light probes are, basically that's how the light probes are what capture the lighting around them, and then it puts that onto your avatar. So that's how you have light on your avatar in Worlds, is because of light probes. Because the light probes capture, like, is the light probe, like, right here lit or not? And this light probe is lit, so it'll transmit that to you if you're closest. Was that Skybox, the Harvest Moon? Yes, actually, that's the reason why I keep this lighting tab, because I have a little Skybox material tab here. And actually, I did go back and actually edit the actual Skybox to add a moon, and also add change the color of the moon. So I did actually open that in GIMP, and then I edited the texture to add a Harvest Moon, and then I just had to like fiddle with the size of it because it was kind of stretched. So I had to fiddle with that until it looked just right, and then I just edited the color, and then I just re-added it back here. Because this is the actual Skybox like material that has all the different ones, and I just edited the front one right here. So. Because all these are still unchanged. Well, they're not unchanged. If you notice, there's like a black line going through them. what that is it basically just makes it so that like that's what the mountains are. That the mountains, and then the mountains kind of just like you're not supposed to see like down here. Like you're only supposed to see the tip of the mountains, and then anything below it is supposed to be just pitch black. So that's why I just left it like that. So yeah, it's a good question though. It's a good question. Oh yeah, here we go. And then Udon stuff. Yeah, so when I started bringing Udon into the Wanderer, I actually had like several different toggles that I made randomly because I was trying to learn how to do cyan triggers. So before I even started converting my map to cyan triggers, I actually made a bunch of different test triggers like right here, and I started like playing with them to see if I could get my basic systems working. Oh, so hey, Kiron. It's going good. I'm just showing off systems here at the Wanderer and stuff, doing some back-end stuff, taking questions. So just going over the Udon part right now, because all these triggers were like my test triggers. Like I got the teleport trigger. When you enter a trigger, it disables or enables something. Opening the front door as a trigger, and then when you interact with an object, it toggles it on and off. Those were like the 4 main things I worked on to get ready. And then once I had a basic idea of those systems, I just started applying it to the entire map. So yeah, and then the mirror stuff, which is just, you know, all the different mirrors in the map and all the reflection probes that go with them as well. So, and that's pretty much a basic overview of the hierarchy. So let's see. Also, one thing if people don't know, you can actually go into this. There's a trigger that's in this tunnel entrance that will take you to the tunnels, which will enable it, so you can walk into it. So that's what that is. Most people don't know that because they just think it's just like there. But what I might do eventually is I might change this black texture to actually be the texture of the tunnel. Like I make it look like you're looking into the tunnel, kinda. That was one thing I had planned, but I haven't done that yet. But yeah, that's pretty much that. Like I said, if you guys have questions about the map and how it works, just let me know. I'm just gonna go through a few different systems. I want to go through the encounters because I really want to show you guys how the encounters actually work, because they're kind of put together with duct tape, if I can phrase it like that. We'll start with the first one that I ever added, which was the Killer Bunny. So the general idea with the Killer Bunny, as many of you may know, is you basically go in this tunnel, you drop into a weird cave system, get lost, you find the bunny, run into it, you get hit by the bunny, it teleports you to a snowy place, and then you die, and you get respawned. And that is pretty much the main system of it. So most people tend to go through here when they're teleporting to the bunny encounter. So, like, you know, you enter the hole, and then what it does is this trigger will teleport you to a point, will enable the object of the chamber so that it's enabled because it's disabled by default, and then we'll disable the outside noise because that's like the background noise you hear, and I disable that when you go to new areas. So let's say you will go in here, right? All right, so we'll go in here. So that's here, and then this object gets enabled. Boom, there you go. So now this object's enabled, and I think by default you only spawn in one spot at the moment because I haven't been able to figure out random stuff yet with Udon, so they like spawn right here basically. And then usually what happens here is you kind of just find your way around. Now the way the bunny works is it's a separate object, and the bunny has its own animation. So this is the actual animation for it walking around. It's like 900 seconds long, which I think if you translate that into minutes, I think it's like 20 minutes, 25 minutes roughly. It's a long timer. It's a long timer basically. So basically, this is the only animation it has. So if I click it, well, actually, let me do it again, because you're not gonna be able to see the effect. There we go. Is that broken? Hold up. Oh shit! Oh, it might be broken actually. Maybe. No, it shouldn't be. I don't know why it's weird. Oh, it might be because of the lighting actually. Oh yeah, I forgot. There's I had lighting and stuff, so oopsie. So yeah, so basically as the bunny moves, there's a collider box, which is what that, you know, outlined square rectangle is around it. And the idea is that when you hit that, which I think is right here, it triggers only for you, and then you get teleported to the snow area. Let me pause that. And then it'll disable that, and then it'll enable the snowy bunny, which that is the actual area that you get teleported to. So then you get hit by the bunny, and then it teleports you. And then I think what happens here, let me check real quick. This is the actual like area you get teleported to. I think I have a trigger. I think I have an animation trigger that enables. Oh yeah, no, I remember now. When you get teleported here, it'll just immediately start playing the animation because it's just because like this area gets disabled, but when it re-enables, it'll play the animation automatically. So then what happens is when you get teleported here, it'll trigger the animation, and then you'll see the bunny spawn in, and then you'll see the eyes popping around, which you don't see them because I don't have it selected. And then right about here, in this part of the animation, there is a stab sound effect that happens, and by this point your view's black. So that udon testing stuff is still saved in Project Hell. I wonder if ever use tags like editor only to not load unneeded objects. Never thought about that actually. I probably should do that. This, like I said, I still need to save more file space. So there's like a couple things I still need to go back and do. So, and yeah, you got the tags here as well. So I actually don't use the tags very often, honestly, if at all. So I might just do that, honestly, and we'll see if that, because I never use tags. I use layers though, but I never use tags. But I might do that. So thank you for the idea. But yeah, at this point you've used black, the stab sound effect happens, and then right at this point in the animation, where? Here, let me just unpreview it. Right at the end of the animation, there is a trigger that plays, which when this trigger is enabled, it'll have you already in the trigger, so it'll trigger it, and then it'll just disable it and send you back to spawn. And then that's the gist of the bunny encounter. So it's pretty straightforward. The bunny counter is pretty straightforward. Nothing too crazy about animations. It's just like in total, I think it's just like the thing that took the longest when it comes to making the bunny encounter was the fact that I had to like model all this. So I modeled all of this in Blender myself. Like I made the little cave network. I made all the rocks. You know, I even like I even made these like glowworms on the ceiling using hair particles in Blender, stuff like that. Like that's what took the longest, honestly, was modeling all this stuff and planning out how I wanted to do it. Because I didn't know how I wanted to set this up, but I did want to give the bunny a refreshing, you know, encounter, because I feel like it deserved a revamp, and I'm glad I did it. And there's an optional thing about the bunny too, which, I mean, some of y'all may probably already know this, but if you actually go through this entrance right here, it'll actually take you to the spiral entrance, which is this section of the cave. And what's supposed to happen is that you're supposed to come in through here, and this will take you to the actual depths cave, which is like the big cave system we have. And then you're supposed to come down here, and then you'll find like these cave paintings and the big door, and the bunny's gonna be behind the door. So that's like, this is like an optional thing that you can find. It's not required to go through here to get to the bunny or anything, but it's kind of a nice little, you know, like note to come across if you're exploring the map. And I like doing stuff like this where it's like it's not required to go to this area, but it's like pretty cool to find it if you're just exploring randomly. And I want to do more stuff like that. But yeah, that's basically the bunny encounter. Nothing too crazy with that. So, and you know what, Miyazaki, just because you said that, I will go ahead and do that. We'll just take all these and we'll set them to editor. Oh, we will give that a try. That sounds like a good idea. But yeah, let's see. What's the next encounter I want to go through? Oh, the trash man. Here we go. All right. Whew, I need to sip my drink. Sorry, I've been talking a lot. One sec. Okay, sorry about that. So, the trash man is a little bit more complicated than the bunny encounter, because the trash man involves multiple different animators happening at the same time instead of just one happening at once. So as you may know, you're supposed to click this. This object will then teleport you into the arena, which will take you here, and then you fall down, and then there you go. And the sponge will just be kind of sitting here. And the sponge is used during the encounter, and it has like a trigger on it where it will only trigger. Oh god, excuse me, one sec. Sorry. Oh, excuse me. The sponge has a trigger that makes it where it'll only trigger this right here if it's inside this layer. So I made a custom layer specifically for the Trash Man encounter because I wanted the sponge to only trigger its on into trigger when it went into objects that had this layer specification, which is what a lot of the objects in this encounter have. And then it's supposed to transition to attack trash. So basically, let's just start from the beginning. You know, you click this. You click this, it enables the encounter. Actually, could I just play this and actually do it? Actually, hold up. Nah, it's a little too hard to do that. But basically, you click the bell and it will trigger. It'll do this trigger right here, which is the trash fight animator, and this is the main animator of the encounter. This is like the one where it does the intro. It does the first attack phase, which is like the first like attacks you get, and then after you take out 4 of the trash bags, it'll trigger phase 2, which is when all the new attacks happen. And then once you get rid of all the trash bags, it will then cause him to like transition to his like finish him phase, which is where he has like the knockout thing on top of his head. You click him, and then after that there's a transition that happens where it resets the animation and then it goes back to its idle animation. So basically, if you wanted to see that in play, so basically if I go here, so it's like the moment you click this, you go here, it transitions from idle to encounter intro, and that's when it will, you know, enable him, start playing sound effects. And then there's a trigger that gets enabled right about here. That start encounter trigger just triggered, which means that, find it quick. So basically, without overcomplicating my explanation, a lot of my encounters rely on this system of the animation playing and then enabling an object that has a trigger that when the object is enabled, it does something. And that's kind of how a lot of these encounters work, is that that's how I transition between the encounters basically. So like once I triggered that, it will transition to attack phase 1, and attack phase 1 is just the one where it like enables the game object for the trash cans. And you don't actually see it in this animation, but I have an entirely separate animator here for the actual attacks. Well, these are actually the trash bags. So the trash bags are the ones where it's like, that's the stuff that like falls from the sky, and you can't actually see it, but I have animators within animators. So while this animator actually handles enabling the objects that are the attacks themselves, each one of these has their own animator that then will actually do the animation itself. So if I just click this, you'll see like the trash can falling, and well, actually you don't see it because it's disabled, but that's why the animator handles that part of it. So basically, if I just enable this and I play it, like that's the actual trash can falling, which is the animation I made for it. So, and then you can see the trigger on there when you hit it. Yep. So if all these trash bags and stuff were on by default, they would all do their animations, but the idea is that this animator, called the attack animator, handles when the object is enabled or disabled, and then when the object gets enabled, it'll just play its animation, which is this actual attack. So yeah, it's like an animator within an animator. And then it also handles the spewing trash stuff as well. So, and then I have a lot of different triggers here as well, and these triggers usually kind of handle like, oh, the encounter has started. Okay, trigger this trigger. So if you go here, it's like, okay, no trash bags, that's default idle. Okay, the encounter is starting, trigger right here. It'll transition to the first trash bag once the encounter starts, and then drop it. And then as you clean each trash bag, it does an animator trigger, which will transition to the next one. And then there's a transition phase where he does this like audio thing, and then it'll transition back to the next trash bag stuff. And then once you get to the last trash bag, it'll transition to the finish fight trigger, which is the one that like finishes the fight and resets everything. So yeah, like I said, there's a lot going on with this encounter. It's a little bit complicated. So like actually doing encounters like this can be kind of can get very complicated very quickly, because you do have to handle a lot of different things like animator triggers. Like you want stuff to happen at the same time, so you want to trigger the animator, so you have to get your triggers all set up and stuff. Yeah, and then don't even get me started with syncing the encounters. Oh my god, that's rough in of itself. But that's what I usually like to do last. I like to worry about syncing stuff afterwards. I just try and get the actual encounter working, like mechanically working first, and then I worry about syncing it later. Which is kind of what happened with the horseman, which I'll show you guys that in just a bit. Trash man's not too bad though. It's pretty. It's probably the outside of the horseman, the trash man's probably the only actual like proper like one-on-one fight encounter in a way where you have to like clean up trash and then beat the trash man. The bunny is kind of more just you die. And then Harvey, which will be the next thing we do, is a bit more just trying to, you know, make sure his sanity bar. Oh my god, we're gonna go to Harvey next. Oh my, Harvey is such a freaking clusterfuck. Oh my god, I don't know how I managed to get him working, but so yeah, so you know what, Harvey. The next encounter that we're gonna be going to is Steve Harvey, the ghost haunting the Wanderer. Fun fact, I still have the actual object in the scene, which is the actual haunting animation. And if I actually enable it, you'll see that it has like different Harveys that enable, and depending on the animation, it'll enable the Harvey in certain spots in the end with a little sound effect that plays when you get close to him. And then also the post-processing box that makes your vision blurry. I still have that in the scene. I'm pretty sure I forgot to add it to where once you defeated Harvey, it would stop this. Because the idea was this is supposed to be enabled by default. And then what's supposed to happen is that once you defeat Harvey, it'll stop haunting the inn. I need to add this back. I'm gonna probably just leave it enabled because I totally forgot about that. But yeah, like once you defeat Harvey for the first time, it's supposed to actually disable this. So I'm just gonna leave that there for now. So I totally forgot about that. I totally forgot. Cause yeah, that's the whole point. Like Harvey's haunting the inn, and you have to go stop him. I can't believe I forgot about this. I'm glad I just remembered it. So I'm gonna leave that enabled. But yeah, here's the actual. You know, you click the coffin, and then voila, here we go. Now, one thing I will say, if I remember correctly, did I model all this in Blender? I think I did, right? Yeah, I modeled all this in Blender. It was supposed to stop. Yeah, well, the idea was that once you beat the Harvey encounter, like you actually beat the Harvey encounter, the haunting was supposed to vanish, basically. So that was the idea. The implication was that, oh, why is Harvey haunting this inn? Why do I just see like a ghost of Harvey in the corner? And then you gotta go investigate. But I fucked up. I got so distracted by stuff I forgot about that, so that's why I was disabled this entire time. But yeah, this is the actual Harvey area. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff here. These TVs were originally supposed to have stuff on them, but then I lost the motivation to actually put stuff on them, so I just left them staticky, basically. But yeah, the Harvey encounter is a cluster fuck, as one would say. We actually have to go here, and then here's all the stuff that's involved in the encounter. So where do we even start? So you click on the camera here, and it'll start the trigger. So when you click on the animation, it starts with the idle animation. This is just like nothing's happening. So, and then what you're supposed to happen is that you're supposed to again. Oh no, this is the intro animation. Sorry. When you click on this trigger to enable the encounter, it'll play the audio, and then after a little bit, it will boop. There's Harvey. He's coming in. He's walking up. Then it'll do the audio, which you can't see in the animation, but yeah. So it does all that. How do I even start explaining this encounter? Because there's so much stuff going on with this. Okay, I'm going to go through each animator, right? So if you want to know what an animator is what controls the animations of an object, right? So there's different animations on this one object, and the animator controls the transitions between them, right? Fair enough. This is the animator for the entire encounter, basically. So you have the idle, the introduction, the transition where the chains enable, the idle when he's just standing there, and then there's either the good ending or the bad ending. There's two different routes you can take. If you don't finish the encounter in time, you get the bad ending trigger. If you finish it in time, you get the good ending trigger, etc., etc. So that's one animator. This is the main animator, right? And then everything else is based off this one animator. There's also an animator for the actual chains as well. So you can see like there's an animation that enables the chains, and then it will transition to the animations being idle. And then the idea is that as you break the chains by, you know, doing the encounter, it'll transition between the different animations until there's no chains left. Did I make it to where he enabled the haunting after you beat him? I swear I would have made it to where it disabled it after you beat him. Maybe I did make it to where it enabled the haunting after you beat him. I don't know why I would do that though. I don't remember what my logic was for that, but oh well. The questions also have their own animator to handle, like, you know, like which questions are enabled at one time, and then it goes to the second layer of questions. What other animators are there? Oh yeah, Harvey himself. He has a health bar, the sanity meter, which you can't see it right here because actually he's disabled right now. So if I go here, then I go here, yeah, the sanity meter is right here, and it's quite something. So as you can tell, like, this is what happens when this is the you know, okay, yeah, no. If you're lost, that's fine. This is a very complicated system I have made, so you don't have to understand it. I just want you to know how complicated this is, setting up all these encounters and stuff. Harvey was probably the most complicated, in my opinion. Like, his encounter involved so many different animators happening. Oh my god, I don't know how I was able to keep myself sane. But yeah, like there's a lot of stuff going on here, basically. I'm just showing you guys the back end so you can see what it's like. And then basically, yeah. So like once you answer the question and you do that, then you go to if I remember correctly, yeah, this the questions actually have the portals, and the portals are what you go into, which enables the areas, and you go into the actual areas. So like let's say you go to area 1, that's just a simple teleport trigger. And then you just jump down here and you click on these and you do that, and then you just do that, like you just do that process of answering the questions over and over again. And then yeah. And then what's supposed to happen is when you get to the last crystal, I think it's this one here. Yeah, here we go. And when you get to the last crystal, which is this one, it's supposed to like give you the good trigger, which is what gives you the good ending. So you have to get there in time. However, if you don't what's it? Gotta find it real quick. If you don't finish the animation in time, it will, I can't remember if it triggers. I think the way I made this work was that the timer for how long it takes for the sanity to drain is the exact same time as the actual like animation for the idle chain. Yeah, so it's 180 seconds for both of those. So basically it's tied in. So like once this animation ends, the sanity will automatically be at 0. So that's the general idea of that. So and then what happens is it'll teleport you and then blah blah blah. So yeah, that's the Harvey encounter. Very complicated. You don't have to understand how it works. I just wanted to show you guys how complicated the encounter can be at times, because I have to deal with like different animators triggering at the same time, getting all the triggers set up to work at certain times, syncing it, etc, etc. Udon, was it hard to convert? Not really. I think the only pain in the butt about converting the Udon and Cyan triggers was it was just very time consuming. Because like the trigger system was still technically there at Cyan triggers. It was still basically the same system. I could just re-add the trigger back as it exactly was. The only issue was just like there are so many triggers in this map that I had to go through one by one and just re-add the trigger back as a Cyan trigger. I didn't have the conversion thing that converts to SCK2 worlds to Udon, so I just had to go through and do it all by manually. So that was time consuming. It took me like 2 weeks to do it. But in terms of actually setting everything back up, not really. I just base it off the previous trigger usually. So, well, I guess the encounters were kind of a pain to set back up in Cyan triggers because like re-adding the trigger back, I had to kind of remember how the encounter worked. So yeah, that was a little bit tricky, but everything else was pretty straightforward. Like, the doors were pretty straightforward to re-add back. Teleport triggers were pretty straightforward to add back. There were a lot of really simple triggers, but there were just a lot of them, so I had to re-add them back, and they was just time consuming, that's all. Okay, let's see. So I went through Harvey, Trash Man, I went through the bunny. Oh, we get to do the horseman now. I get to show you guys the horseman encounter. Before I show you the horseman encounter, I do need to show you the thing I worked on before I started working on the horseman. Do I have it in? I think it's in here, yeah. Save this real quick. So before I even started working on the actual horseman encounter in the scene, the headless horseman encounter, sorry. Yeah, the headless horseman. Before I started working on the headless horseman encounter for the Wanderer, I actually had a separate test scene for the actual like testing of it, which was what this was. So, and yes, it is a WoW reference. The headless horseman from World of Warcraft is the model that I used, and the entire section about the inn burning down is kind of a reference to how it actually is in the game, where you have to stop the headless horseman from like burning down the town with water buckets, and then you have to fight him at the end. It's literally like a 1-to-1 conversion. But yeah, this is where I was like testing the actual water buckets. These water buckets, by the way, took me a while to actually set up. They look simple, but there's a lot that goes into them. So there's a couple different things here. There's the actual object, and then there's the raycast. And the raycast is the actual object that has the script for doing all the raycasting. So basically, a raycast, it places the raycast object, which in this case is the green circle. It'll place that at the point of the raycast, and then the water particle is the water splash parent. I don't remember what that did, but basically the water splash is the actual splash effect, so that you see. And then when that happens as well, there's also a trigger that's tied to it, which is like a spear. And it basically, when this trigger hits this fire object, which is the actual fire itself that has the fire particle in it, right? The fire particle is parented to this, right? When the water splash hits the fire, it will disable the fire object, which is this fire parent. It will disable it, and then it's supposed to do an animation trigger. And we have to go back to the main scene for you to actually see that. So one sec, let me go back there real quick. Where are my scenes at? There they are. Wanderer, yep. Here we go. Don't care. It takes a hot minute to actually open up the Wanderer scene because there's so much stuff in it, so it'll take a second to load. Yeah. I will say though, working on encounters is fun. Like it's kind of like when I start working on an encounter, I'm very motivated because it's really like, I remember when I started working on the horseman encounter, I was like so pumped about it. I was like, oh man, I can't wait to get this done and show it to people. And there was that motivation that kind of carried me through it. Like there was some like time consuming parts, but man, did it pay out in the end. It was great. But yeah, as you can tell, the horseman encounter starts here. You gotta go to the quest marker. Oh, the quest text, sorry. It's based on the quest text right here. And then there's an object right here that you click, and that enables the encounter. And then, oh man, God, what are oh god, so much stuff here. Basically, this just starts the animation. It enables all the environment effects like the clouds and the lightning strikes, and then it just sets itself to false. So I just do that, and then what happens is, oh yeah, here's the animator, by the way, if you're curious how it works. So you have the idle before you trigger the encounter. You have the actual introduction where he's running up to the inn and making his voice lines. Then you have the part where he's flying around the inn in circles. That's what this animation is. If you don't take out the fires in time, it'll transition to the failure animation where he flies away. And then there's like a transition animation after that where it resets everything, and then it goes back to idle. If you do manage to put the fires out in time while he's flying around, he'll transition to actually flying down from the inn onto the ground. Then he'll idle until you get close to him, and then when you get close to him, it'll trigger this animation, which will be his running fight animation. And then if you don't beat him in time, he'll actually fly away as an animation, and if you beat him in time, it'll complete the encounter. And then when you complete the encounter, it'll just keep looping this animation, which will have him just stay dead. So that's about it. That's pretty much the gist of the encounter. So if you want to actually see it in action, like I go here. So, oh, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Introduction. Here we go. There you go. So you may notice when I play this animation, you may be wondering, why is he not actually running? Why is he just sliding on the ground here? That's because what I'm doing to get him to actually move like that is I'm animating an object. I'm animating an empty game object that he is actually parented to, and that's the object I'm moving around. So basically, if I go here, so I'm animating this thing called the Headless Horseman controller, and this is an empty game object, and then the actual horseman himself is actually parented to that object. And the horseman himself has his own animator that is his actual like proper animations. Like if we go through it, you'll see it's like his standing idle animation, his run animation. He also has his death animation. And then he has his death loop animation, which is like when he's dead on the ground. I also have a walk animation. Oh, sorry. It sometimes breaks sometimes when you do that. It's weird. I also have a walk animation, but I've never used it before. I've not used it in the encounter. I was going to, but I couldn't really figure out what it fitted. So I was just like, I'm not going to use it. Setting up these animations, by the way, were kind of a pain because I had to download World of Warcraft again. I had to download WoW Model Viewer, and then I had to export the Horseman model with the animations without the program crashing. Then I had to fix up the model a bit, fix up the rig. I also had to make sure it worked properly. Then I had to import it into Unity, make sure the animation setup with it worked properly, which was kind of a pain to do. And then once I got the animations working like this, it turned out pretty good. So basically what happens is he has triggers like stand or run, and these triggers will enable during certain parts of the encounter. So when he's flying to the inn for the first time, there's a trigger that causes him to run. So instead of just like sliding like this, he's actually running because there's a separate trigger that enables that. It's a separate animator, so it won't show it. So no, I didn't animate the death animations. No. I exported those animations from the game itself, and then I had to like set it up on the avatar. Like I had to like apply the animation to the avatar, and there were a few issues with like bone inconsistencies that I had to fix, but otherwise it worked out pretty well. So, but yeah, there's separate animators. There's the main there's the main encounter animator that controls all the major events. There's an animator for the horseman that determines what, like, how he moves. Like, is he running? Is he walking? Is he idle? You know, stuff like that. There's an animator for the head as well, the little head you see floating around. There's an animator for that, and the animator for that is pretty much just like, okay, when you're enabled, you're idle. Then when the encounter starts for the second phase, I just want you to float around in a set path. And then when the encounter finishes, I just want you to be dead on the ground. And then he stays dead on the ground for the rest of the instance. So the head also has an encounter. I mean, has has an animator. And then you can see all these different like things here with like HH_. These are all the different like triggers I have for enabling stuff. These are all like enabled triggers, and when they're enabled, they do stuff. Now you may notice like if you look on this trigger, it has something called on variable change. This is how I tried to sync the encounter. So what I did is these triggers that enable have variables attached to them that sync, and then when the object gets enabled, it changes the variable to like either false or true, depending on what the opposite of it is. And then when it changes, it should sync for everyone. When the variable is changed, it'll send that to everyone, and then it'll do all this stuff. It works pretty decently when everyone's in the instance together, but the problem is that when you join late, it doesn't sync the encounter, and that's because these triggers right here, these variables, are not attached to the actual animator themselves. So it doesn't like translate the current state of the animator to late joiners, and I still have to figure out how to do that. because I kind of don't know how to do that yet. So I'm still getting there. I'm still figuring out Udon, Cyan triggers and stuff. So that's still a work in progress. But the encounters themselves should sync with everyone in the instance at that time. But the late joiner issue is still something I'm looking into right now. That's something I'm gonna have to do with variables and Cyan triggers. Was it very different to work with compared to SDK2? Not really. Actually, it wasn't that bad. Like if I for instance, let's say I want to make a new trigger, right? So I'll just make an empty game object for an example here. So let's say I want to make a trigger, right? So I'll just go Cyan triggers, and then I have all this like stuff. This confused me at first. You don't really have to pay attention to the Udon behavior stuff. That's just kind of attached with it. But when you go to add new events, I mean, all the stuff that you used in SDK2 stuff is still there. Like the interact triggers are still there. The on enter trigger stuff is still here. Like on player enter trigger stuff is still here. Like if I want to make a simple like click on this button and cause something to happen, I just do that. And then if you want to touch variables, you can. I usually don't. And then there's actually a button here specifically called SDK2, and it's well, I don't think you can see it on the stream, but there's a button called SDK2 here, and when I click on it, I'll have like a drop down of all the SDK2 controls that were from the SDK2. So basically, the functionality of SDK2 basically is in Cyan triggers, but there's also more stuff you can do now. So basically, it's just an upgrade from SDK2 in my opinion with Cyan triggers. So that's why I converted to it, because I can do more stuff with it now. But then I can also still have the functionality that I knew about in SDK2. So basically, if you were like me and you're very familiar with SDK2 and setting up triggers and stuff, and you want to get into Udon, but you're not very good at like coding or doing graphs and new node graphs and stuff, I would say Cyan triggers is the best bet, because you can just take that knowledge of triggers, apply it to Cyan triggers, set up your map again, but with Udon, and then start figuring out all that stuff as you go. I think I would say it's worth it. It's definitely like usable for SDK2 people who don't know much about Udon. Like I'm still learning about Udon myself. Like I said, I've only scripted one thing, and that's these buckets, and that's like a very like small script. So if you're getting into world making and you want to get Udon, but you don't know much about programming or node graph, yeah, Cyan triggers is probably your best bet because it's really nice. So okay, but yeah, that's the horseman encounter. Like I said, it's kind of a jumbled mess of syncing the animation of the horseman with the current state of the animation in total of like what's happening at the moment. And that took me a while to do. I think it took me a month to actually finish this encounter, and I think like maybe like 40-50% of that time was spent getting the water bucket stuff working, and then the rest of it was just like actually making the animations and animating them in the scene, and then getting all the triggers set up, and you know, figuring out weird bugs that kind of came up along the way. Always a bit of a pain, I swear. Ugh. But you know what? I think it paid out at the end of the day. So, I mean, we still have 2 full weeks of October left, so that's 2 full weeks to enjoy the Horseman encounter before I take it down in November. Because I'm not going to keep the Horseman encounter in the Wanderer. I'm going to remove it after October, so it's going to be like... I think from now on, what's going to happen is that October will bring back the Horseman. So the Horseman will be like a yearly encounter of like him coming back in October to haunt the Wanderer. So basically what's going to happen is that when October passes, I'm going to turn this game object, which is like the parent, into a prefab, and then I'm just going to drag it into the files and then store it there until I want to bring it back next year. Yes, there are a lot of Udon prefabs. That is correct. I do actually have a couple of them in the scene at the moment. I mean, if you looked at the credits, there are a couple here. Better audio, Udon Sharp, Cyan triggers, the calibration chairs. If I remember correctly, I think... Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so, I mean, with Udon prefabs, you just have to read the instructions when setting them up. Like with the better prefab, the better audio controller prefab, it took me a hot minute to figure out how to work it. But like once I figured out what I needed to put in the scene and what like stuff to edit, it was pretty straightforward, so it wasn't too bad. So now that I have access to Udon prefabs, I can actually do cool stuff. Like for instance, this Roomba is technically a prefab that I just edited the texture and added a head to, because I couldn't actually attach the functionality of the prefab Roomba onto the current BTR Roomba. It wouldn't work no matter what I did. So I just took the actual one that was working, I just edited the texture and put the head on it, and I was like, all right, there you go. So, but Udon prefab's not too bad to add to the scene and stuff. So, I mean, if you really think about it, what an Udon stuff is like you'll have like an Udon behavior script, and this is where your actual script for what it like what happens is. So like this script basically controls like these sound effects that I don't actually have play, and then like different things with like, oh, who is the self? The self is the Roomba. It's weird. The Roomba's not a good example of how to show that, but yeah, like if I wanted to make an Udon script, if I wanted to give something functionality, I could just make a script and attach it to the object and then start going from there. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much a general overview of the encounters and stuff. I still have a few different things I want to work on. Like, for instance, one idea I had was I want to put like some kind of elevator system right next to this tunnel entrance that takes you up to the top. Because what I was going to do eventually was I was going to make it to where you could go above the crater and you could like walk out onto like a set path that'll take you like out above the rim of the crater, and then I would have like a whole forest up here and stuff that goes all the way around, and you could just like explore it and stuff and find stuff up here. I think what's going to probably happen is I'm going to work on the Christmas decorations starting in November, get all that set up, and then I think I might actually add a Christmas encounter as well. I have something planned for that. Hopefully my full-time job doesn't take too much time away from that, but we'll see. I do know that the Christmas decorations won't be too bad to set up because I still have the ones from last year, so I'm just going to reset those back up in the Wanderer and then go from there. But I think the idea is that starting next year, I think starting in like January, I might start working on an update for like an expansion outside the crater, because I want to do a spring update where I just have like a whole area up here to explore. Like everything down here will still be the same, but there'll just be like a way you can get up here now instead of like, because like right now there's like this perimeter that you can't actually climb. So, but eventually I will make this like a area you can get up to, and then I'll have to kind of like take into account some areas that are below terrain that I'm gonna have to like fix later. So, but yeah, that's one idea I had. Because I know a lot of people, I know a couple of people have mentioned to me that they love the idea of just being able to like go up above the crater and look down. So I will add like I want to take the elevator system that's in the basement and I want to just apply it out here basically. Since I think that'd be kind of cool. So, and then still keep it performant well. I also might need to fix up these floating islands eventually. Like I think I kind of want to make this like twice as big. I really just either want to make this twice as big or I want to add like a few more small ones around it with bridges. I want to like expand this upper area here. Like I kind of have neglected this for a long time. I got to come back to it sometime. I keep getting distracted by this stuff though. And then as you guys know, in recent updates, I did I added some more like points of interest in the map, like the little rose field, the white rose field. Which by the way, the white roses are a reference to my hometown, which is dubbed the White Rose City, which is why I added White Rose. Actually, no. The actual floating island is not a Blender object I made. It's like an actual model I found online. And I've been using this same model for the floating island since 2018. I haven't touched it. I haven't made a new one yet. I want to make a new one though, because I could easily sit down and just like I could actually just make my own floating island at this point. It's not that difficult to do in Blender. Like I'm looking at this and it's like, yeah, I could do this in Blender. And it's just like I still want to go back and do that. Because I want to make the island twice as big and maybe put like a house up here or something eventually. But yeah, like I said, I just haven't done that yet. So like I said, there's like a lot of different ideas I have, and it's just like I haven't really sat down to really work on them because I get distracted with other stuff. Like, I mean, the most recent stuff I was working on is the Horseman and getting the Halloween stuff set up. And then, oh yeah, also I forgot the udon as well. I forgot that I was working on the udon conversion like right before October. Yeah, that was what I was working on alongside the October decorations. And then I think before that it was like what? The hot spring? No, it was the Wanderer Festival. Yeah, and then I was working on the Wanderer Festival before I started working on that. And then before that I was working on the hot spring, which is this area. And then yeah, so I've been in the spring up, and I've been like this entire year I've just been kind of busy working on Wanderer stuff. I haven't sat down to do other things. Like I still want to do the expansion update, but I want to make it like an actual thorough area up there, which is why I want to take some time to work on it. So I'm thinking like I think the only big content update is going to be mainly just the adding the snow back to the Wanderer, getting the Christmas decorations up. That'll be like the big content update I have there. And then starting in March, we'll take down the snow and we'll be back to normal. Like this is all going to be snow soon. Like in December, like when I get the Christmas decorations up, I'll be converting the map to snow, and then we'll have snow until March in the Wanderer, because that's kind of the tradition right now. Is snow in the crater usually lasts about 4 months, I think, and then we go back to normal usually. So yeah, that's kind of a little tradition I have there. And it's just as easy as changing the texture on the leaves to have some snow on them. And then also painting the snow onto the terrain, and then re-enabling the snow falling from the sky in the auroras as well. That'll be easy enough to do. So it's fun though. I enjoy doing it. That's always a fun thing about this. So also the reason why I actually added a crater perimeter is because I didn't like the idea of it just being like a straight up shot, like up the crater. Like with like if you look in here, it's like really weird. It's just like a straight up like that. I didn't like that, so I ended up adding an actual like. I ended up adding this actual like crater thing that I got from a game as an actual proper like crater perimeter. I actually like this a lot better. So if I ever add an area outside the crater, like I said, there's going to be some kind of elevator system that you can go up. I was also thinking about adding wise rail grinding actually. As like I was either going to put it on these like power lines here, or I was going to have some kind of system where if you wanted to get like around quicker up here, there would be a rail, there would be like a rail that would go all the way around the perimeter. However, the only thing with that is that like wise rail grinding also includes like movement systems that I kind of don't want to add to the map. So yeah, we'll see. That's still something that's debatable, so we'll see. I'm trying to think of what else to show. Oh yeah, you know what, there is one thing I do want to show actually. Like I said, I wasn't expecting to be doing this too crazily. I'm trying to think of like what else I could show, because I've pretty much shown. Oh no, I haven't shown the basement yet actually. Hold up. Where's the basement at? Somewhere. Basement. Oh, here it is. If I remember correctly, I think the basement is still technically Pro Builder. The basement, I think the basement. Yeah. So the basement, like the entire basement, like structure, the walls and the ceilings and the foundations, they're still technically Pro Builder objects. I have to go back and convert them eventually. I just haven't sat down to do that yet. That's something I have planned eventually, is to convert them to Pro Builder. I mean, convert them out to an actual FBX object and not Pro Builder. So, and yeah, I mean, it's like I might have to look into that if I want to add that prefab. But yeah, this is the basement. Pretty straightforward. It's a Pro Builder object, so it's got some like weird discrepancies with like texture tiling and stuff. Like nobody ever sees the side of the texture, so it's just weirdly tiled, but this side's fine. I have considered going back and just modeling the basement in Blender and just re-importing it, but I think what I'm probably going to end up doing is I'm probably going to end up just like taking the actual like different parts of the building and just like, you know, exporting them as FBX objects and re-importing them. Because like I said, a lot like the walls, the ceiling, and the floor are all Pro Builder at the moment, and I want to switch out of that. But yeah, as you know, like this is the ladder you come down, and then here's the garage area that takes you to one of the tunnel entrances over there. And then you can walk down this way, which will take you to the lab door. You open that, and then I'll take you to like the little meeting room here. with the table, with the nice little board that has all the connections and stuff. Also, I didn't make it very clear, but red means a direct connection. Wait, actually, wait, is it red? Wait, yeah, red means a direct connection. Blue means a possible connection. I never actually specified that, but that is what that means. I probably should have put that like at the bottom here, but I kind of forgot to do that. This room actually is kind of special because there's actually a lot of cool stuff in here. I mean, you guys know about all the teleport stuff here. I don't think I actually re-enabled this actually. Did I? No, I haven't actually. Yeah, so you can't actually use this at the moment. I haven't actually added the trigger back because you can see the trigger's broken right here. This is the SEK2 trigger that is broken, and I haven't actually added it back yet because I'm kind of lazy. I need to eventually though. Like I said, it's like a system in place for that, but I gotta go sit down sometime later and add that back. And then you got the little screen. This is supposed to kind of tell people like, oh, there's cool points of interest around the map. Let me go find it, you know? So like that's the floating island, that's the gazebo, the graveyard, the hot spring, the trash man, the bunny, the helicopter, the star camp. That's what those are. And then I edit this whenever I add like new stuff. I guarantee you, like once I add like a more area, I'll probably just have a button here. You click on the keyboard, that'll transition the image to a different one. So yeah, no, I didn't feel like going through the effort to set up the tunnel fast transit stuff. I need to eventually though, but I don't know if I will. I will say though, for Patreon supporters, and for Twitch subscribers, I will have that fast teleport system in place soon. And the idea with that is that I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it to where like literally every single this room, and this room will have its own separate teleport that you can teleport to if you're a Patreon supporter. And then like I'll just make it specific like that, so you can teleport to, you know, basement _ garage, basement _ library, basement _ elevator. The idea is that if you're supporting the map financially, you get access to these like really fast teleports directly at spawn. So instead of having to run around and stuff, you can just instantly like teleport to any spot on the map you want to. That's something I plan on doing very, very soon. Hopefully by the end of the month. I'm gonna get that set up with the Patreon supporters, so, and the Twitch subscribers, because I'm extending the benefits to you guys as well. So you guys will have access to that. And if you're curious about how that works, actually, I can actually show you. Which it should technically work because I am actually using it at the moment. So, do that. Okay. So the way that I would actually enable a trigger to be touched by only certain people is I actually have that system set up for my bar buttons at the moment. So if you click on this button and I go down here, there's a section of it where you can specify who can click the button, and there's a user allow list. And the idea is that I can allow certain users to click the button, so I can add multiple users, so I can just like add more. So like if I want to put, you know, like if I want to put Shadox Miyazaki, I could put that on the trigger, and now you could click this button if you want to. And like you and I would be the only people able to click it. So I can just add people to this like user allow list for buttons. And the entire idea is that the Patreon supporters would have their name on this allow list, and then they would have access to the controls that would let them do that. So that's why it's a good thing I converted to Udon, because I could not do that. I would not be able to do that in SDK2. That's like an SDK3 specific thing that I can do, which is very handy. So that's really good. So, but yeah. And they got the campsites as well. They're still just kind of chilling here. I have been thinking about going back and refreshing these a little bit more. Like I did redo the tents, even though they're not like the best looking tents. I did go back and re-add new tents and stuff. But I gotta go back and probably edit them some more, make them look more nicer eventually. I don't know. It is certainly an upgrade. Yes, that's why I'm very glad I put in the effort to actually convert my map, because I definitely like the benefits. And then here's the hot spring. I still need to do I think what we're gonna do is we're probably not gonna do a night. Well, we might do we might do an incubing night at the hot spring during the winter, just because, you know, when the snow comes down, it would be nice to hang out at the hot spring and stuff. We'll see. We'll get around to that eventually. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much a general overview of the map. I've pretty much shown you all the encounters, most of the areas at this point. A lot of the back-end systems, like, you know, like everything's kind of parented to, usually what happens with toggles is a lot of this stuff is all parented to one object, and then I just disable it, so, and then it disables it. Yeah, the encounters were what I really wanted to show because they're really complicated and stuff. There is one thing I want to show as well, too. The Thanksgiving version is just the version I have set up for Thanksgiving, which is just like the building itself, and that's it. I'm gonna have to make a new one this year because I've updated the building since then. Don't know what that one is. The Wanderer 2.0. I don't actually know what the Wanderer is, actually. That might be a different version of this. I'm not sure. And then I have the Far From Home, which is the one that's in space. However, that version is highly outdated. So if I wanted to set that back up again, I would have to like use this current version of the inn and then just take everything else out of it and then do that, which I haven't done that yet. And then I got the Old Wanderer, which I want to show the Old Wanderer real quick because that's where it all started. For context, here we go. Here. Yeah, it's all up there. Okay. A lot of stuff here. Hold on one sec. Okay, here we go. All right. So for context, this version of the Wanderer that we're in right now is the original. This is the original version that I made back in 2018, like at the very start of 2018, like March 2018. You can notice there's a few differences. I think one of my favorite things about this version is the fact that instead of it being it being just a very sharp slope, it's actually a slanted slope. Like, it's actually way more slanted in this version than the 2.0 version. And I'm kind of thinking about just going back and doing this, because I like this a lot. I like that it's slanted like this. There's just something about this that I really like. Because it's like, it feels kind of more like a crater instead of just a sinkhole. I don't know. The one without windows. Yeah, this is the one without windows, yeah. You can also tell just how, like, small the actual terrain of this is. It's really small. So, but I like this crater setup more because it's like, it's a slanted kind of terrain rather than a straight up and down one. But the reason why I made it up and down in the 2.0 version is because I didn't want people to come up here and just see like an abyss, you know? So that's kind of why I ended up changing it away from this version. But I might re-add this back eventually because I do like this like crater setup though. But yeah, this is the original layout of the Wanderer. Let me just hold up. There we go. This is what the Wanderer's layout was before I converted to the 2.0 version. So it originally, the idea was that this was spawn right here, and the idea was that you would walk down the road, you would look to your right, you would see the inn, but you could also just keep walking down the road, and then the portal to the cupboard would be here. So the idea was that people were traveling to the cupboard, but then they would like come to the Wanderer for rest, and then they would continue on their way. It was like a side road, basically, like, oh, you know, I'm traveling through VRChat, yada yada, okay, oh hey, there's an inn here, let me go rest here, and then you continue on your way, basically. That was the concept I had for the layout. That's why I set it up like this. Then there was like a fast travel path right here that could take you straight to the Wanderer. So I'm gonna be honest, I kind of missed the layout of this version quite a lot, actually. I actually really liked it. Like, I feel like this map's foliage actually kind of made it look more forested than the 2.0 version because there was like a lot more. There was like a much more narrow space for the path, whereas the path in the 2.0 version is much wider, whereas this one's way more narrow. And I don't know, like I just like this layout quite a lot, which is why I stuck with it in the 1.0 version. And then you may notice that one campsite is elevated, the other one isn't. I just kind of did that so it wasn't just straight up flat right here. It was like an elevated one, and then the mountains kind of break up the view so you don't see like all around, and then you just walk to the crater. But yeah, this is what the Wanderer looked like back in well, this is what the Wanderer looked like by July 2018. Like, I had updated the Wanderer enough that it looked like this. I had like added pillars and all that kind of stuff too, whole system in that. Well, yeah. But in case anyone doesn't know, the original story of why I made the 2.0 version was because this version of the Wanderer did not have any windows. And if you really want to know, God, what is with these gizmos? It's freaking music. I don't know why it's so massive all of a sudden. Hold on one sec. Why is that so big? Weird. I don't know why that's so freaking massive, but whatever. I just want to. There we go. Ah. Yeah. So this version, okay. So what had happened, right? It's like what, May 2018 at this point. I found out about ProBuilder. So what I did is I actually converted my entire building's map to ProBuilder so that I could have more control of, you know, editing the actual mesh inside Unity. Because at this time I wasn't really that knowledgeable with Blender. Like, I didn't really know how to make stuff very well in Blender, so I was doing everything in Unity at this time. And ProBuilder was like, oh sweet, I can actually just do this in Unity. Awesome, sweet. So I had converted most of the map to ProBuilder, and then I realized, like, I wanted to add windows to the Wanderer so that you could look outside. And I realized that it would be way too difficult to just try and cut out a window on the side of the wall here. It would be way too difficult. And I also realized that the actual layout of the inn was kind of bad. Like, it wasn't symmetrical. It was kind of really weirdly offshoot. Like, you walk in, and like the bar is hidden around the corner here. I don't know what happened to this thing here, but it's dying here. But the bar is kind of like offshoot to the side here, and then like the stairs are up here. Like, I felt like if I had redone the map from scratch again at this point, I could make it better. And with ProBuilder, I now had the tools to actually do that much better. Because when I started working on the Wanderer, I just put cubes together in Unity to make a building. I didn't actually have ProBuilder, so I just made cubes. So that's kind of why, like, I decided to make the 2.0 version. And I will say, I do kind of miss this version a lot. Like, at times, it's nostalgic to me. I never did any. I don't know what happened to this. I never did any actual proper innkeeping here, aside from when I made the map public initially in March 2018. I remember a few public instances I went into where I was like hanging out behind the bar and just talking to people. But like, I never did proper innkeeping here, so yeah. And then I was originally going to actually, wait a minute, did I ever actually add a basement to this version? I swear I did. Was there a I swear at one point I was working on a basement for this version before I converted to 2.0. Did I ever actually add it? I don't actually remember. Oh shit, it's been way too fucking long. It was missing prefabs and stuff. I don't think I did, honestly. I think... Yeah, I don't think I actually did. I think at one point I was working on a basement for this version of the map, and I was like modeling it and everything with ProBuilder. I actually... Oh, I remember. We had to go upstairs to see it, though. I had started making these doors actually properly openable. Like, the idea was that you would open this door like directly, and there'd be like a room in here to go into. And I think I remember thinking like, man, I should just make a new inn, honestly. Like, as much as I love this like version of the Wanderer and stuff, like I still do. But as much as I love this version of the Wanderer, there's some flaws with it. Like, it was like, I needed to redo the layout. It was just, yeah. I mean, you could tell that like a lot of the like original assets used in the original version were brought over to the 2.0 version. I mean, you look at this and then you compare it to the current Wanderer, and it's like, which one's better, you know? So yeah, I will say though, I do kind of look back fondly on this version of the Wanderer because it's kind of where I started. So working on the map and stuff. I also will say that I kind of want to bring this crater stuff back. I like the idea of a slanted crater rather than the rocky like crater kind of. I don't know. I still haven't decided yet. I'm still kind of indecisive about that. But yeah, this is the OG version. And this version of the Wanderer only existed in the public sphere in 2018 for about March, April, May, June. About 4 months? 5 months? Yeah, was it really only 5 months? Oh god, yeah, it was, wasn't it? Because I worked on the... I think I finished the 2.0 version of the Wanderer in July or August of 2018. Yeah, it was like around like August-ish of 2018. So this version of the Wanderer was only public for a couple months, and then the thing is, I didn't delete it. I made a new scene to make the 2.0 version. So instead of overwriting the 1.0 scene, I just kept the 1.0 scene as a separate scene, and then I made a 2.0 scene, which is what the current Wanderer is at right now. So yeah. So like I preserved a piece of history, I guess you could say. Like you can still come to the 1.0 version to this day. Like there's a portal in the attic that takes you to the 1.0 version. So if you want to see what the Wanderer was like back in 2018, like there's still a chance to do that. And I kind of wish a lot of other maps would do that as well. Like I think for the cupboard especially, I don't know if LC has an old version of the Wanderer of the cupboard still like saved in a separate scene, but I kind of wish more maps would do that, where they would have like old versions of the map available to visit in like a private instance or like a portal within the current version of the map. So I'm very glad I kept this, because like I said, I still look back on this very fondly, even though it's like I've gotten much better than when I made all this back in 2018. God, fuck, dude, 2018 was such a long time ago. Was 3 years ago? Like I made this map about 3.5 years ago at this point. It's getting close to 4 years, honestly, but damn. A lot has changed in 3 years, I'll be completely honest. I mean, like, I was in college when I was making this, and now I'm graduated. And I've finally reached the point where I have a full-time job, so... I look back at this version, and I just kind of, like, see a part of myself where it's, like... There's... I don't know. Oh, Flower, yes, we're getting virtually old. Hello, my dear friend Flower, how are you doing? Welcome to my Q&A/map development stream, where I'm just going over the systems in the Wanderer. This is the old version from 2018, and it's making me feel very old looking at this. I love it to death, but man, I feel old. I feel very old. I'm gonna leave this scene. I gotta go back to my main one now. Can't stay here forever. There's such a you can tell like how far I've come when you look at this scene, and then like when it loads in for a second, when you give it a second, it takes forever to open large scenes on Unity sometimes. Like there's such a stark difference between you looking at this, which is what I was working on back in 2018, and then looking at what I have now in 2021. It's like, yeah, I've come a long way. I would like to think. I mean, then again, like most stuff I work on these days, I make from scratch. I try to, at least. Like, I think... Oh, here we go. Yeah, here we are. And then you look at this, and it's like, oh, wow, look at this. Like, the map just looks... some more spicy. But yeah, I think these days, I tend to make stuff from scratch now. Like these tents, like the tent, the telescope, the gazebo I modeled over here, the roses... the hot spring, the entire hot spring area, like pretty much everything in this entire building and the hot spring I made completely from scratch. So like I try to make stuff completely from scratch when I do new updates to the map and stuff. The only thing I could say I didn't make from scratch was the Horseman, which is from World of Warcraft. I just exported the model because I wanted to have a reference to him. So he wasn't made from scratch, though. He was not made from scratch. No, he's a model that I imported in, but it's supposed to be a World of Warcraft reference. So, you know, there you go. And then, you know, he attacks the end. So, God. I'm very glad people enjoy the Horseman encounter. Like I said, it took me freaking forever to set up that encounter. It was like animator, like it was like several different animators happening at once, getting it all synced up together, getting all the triggers set up, getting the animations made, getting the the Udon Sharp stuff set up for the actual buckets. Actually have raycasting enabled on them. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. But yeah, I'll tell you right now, I like the fact that the Wanderer looks like this now. I mean, not the Halloween decorations, but like the actual building's like style. Like I like the layout of this building a lot. I don't know, like I think the Wanderer has a very distinctive look, and you can like, if you see a building that looks like this, I feel like if people who know about the Wanderer see a building that has a similar layout to this, they'll think, oh, that's the Wanderer, you know? I think it has I don't want to say a recognizable silhouette, but I would like to say that the Wanderer has a recognizable silhouette. Like, if this was just like a pitch black like image, I feel like you could probably think, oh, that's the Wanderer, you know? Who knows? Yeah, it's nice, though. I mean, you look at this, and it's like, man, dude, this interior... Oh my god, it looks so much better than the old version. in the 1.0 version. I mean, Bakery's lighting really does help make things look nice, but then also the fact that pretty much most things you see in this like room are pretty much made from scratch by me, like modeled from scratch and stuff. Like this was modeled from scratch, you know. The rug, the tables, the stalls, the barrel, the barkeep, the bar stools, the countertops back here, you know, the building, the stairs, the pillars, the couches, this thing, whatever, drawer, something. I don't know what it's called. Drawer. It's a drawer. I think the TV was also made from scratch as well. I'm not sure. Did I ever add back the functionality for the TV? I did. Okay, yeah, I did. Okay. It's nice. Yeah, it's nice. I mean, like I said, there's still so much I want to do with the map. Like this, like all this, like ideas I have for like areas I want to add and things I want to update. Coffee. Yeah, coffee table. And it's just like I like working on the map. Like I will say, like the Wanderer is kind of like the one thing I have that I work on that there's not really that much I do, honestly. Definitely captures silhouette and atmosphere over the world. It's 100% separate plus itself as its own property, being not so comparable to other offerings. Hell yes, indeed. I will say actually, well, let me go find the image real quick. It is in the basement. I have to go to the basement real quick. Basement. Where are you at? Sometimes it's not as easy. There you go. Basement V1. There it is. I have to go to the basement real quick to show you guys something. Hold up. If I remember correctly, the Wanderous like layout was actually based off a Minecraft picture. It's actually right here, actually. This one. Oh, the rendering being weird. There we go. This is the actual like layout. Like this is the image that I looked at and I was like, yeah, I kind of want the Wanderer to look like this. I want to have like two like extruded parts and then like the door in the center and then, you know. So I based the like outer like architecture off of this image, this one image, and I still have this in the map. You can still look at this image in the actual live version. It's in the basement. So, and then this is kind of what I based the like actual architecture style off of in a way, or I tried to at least. So these were like the two big reference images I used. You can kind of tell that I keep a lot of like old pictures on this wall. Like this image right here, this image is probably the oldest thing in my map. Like hands down, like the oldest object in my map. This is the original sign that I had posted when I was working on the test version of this map. You can actually see it in these two images right here, like this, like that thing right there, and then that thing right there. Like this is like the original test version of the map when I was making it back in early 2018. The oldest object I've had in this scene, and I've just kept it ever since. So. Because I used to do this thing where when I was testing the map, I would upload a live version of it. I would go there, and like it wasn't public yet, but it was like I would go there in Friends Plus, and then my friends would join me, and I would get like input from them, and I would be like, yeah, like what's your guys' like input on this? You know, what do you guys think of this? And then I would kind of just talk to my friends about like, oh, this is what I want to work on. This is like my idea, my layout. I don't know why, but like it just kind of helped me get like a general idea of what I was going for. I had one of my friends, Eric. He was pretty instrumental in doing that. He would always join me whenever I did these test sessions, and he would always just kind of listen to what I had to say about the map and stuff. So he's a cool guy. Oh yeah, and this is like, wait, what's the date for this picture? May 15th, 2018. Yeah, this is a long time ago. This was like what my Unity scene used to look like in 2018 when I was working on the Wanderer. God, that's an old image right there. Ugh. Jeez. Really makes me feel old. I feel old just talking about all this stuff. God, you don't really think about it, but a shit ton of time has passed since I originally started working on this map. Like 3 years. That's a long time. It's a very long time, actually. A lot of stuff has changed in 3 years. I feel like I've grown as a creator in 3 years. Like, I can do stuff now that I did not think I could do in 2018. And I still think I'm getting better. Like I'm still learning, so it's getting there and stuff. So, but yeah, that's the basement. Let me just go get out of here real quick. There we go. Where's the oh, we're lost in space for a second there. basements and disable you. Start. I could just teleport back by clicking that. There we go. All right, and we're back. Oh God, what else was there? But yeah, like I said, eventually I will add an area up here. I do want to make it where you can actually get outside the crater, because one thing I've always wanted to do is kind of like go on the outside of the crater, like legitimately, and actually just look down and see the entire crater. I like the idea of that, so I want to do that eventually. But I think what's going to happen is, like I said, I'm going to get the Christmas stuff worked on in November, get that set up, and then get that uploaded in December with the snow and everything. And then I'll probably take a break for the rest of December. And then starting starting next year, I'll probably start getting the ball rolling again for like a big update for the Wanderer. But I do kind of want to take it easy in December, so I might hold off on working on too much like productive map stuff. Ugh. But yeah, that's the general idea. Other than that, there isn't really too much else to show about the Wanderer. I mean, I've pretty much shown most of the systems in place. If y'all have any questions about the map, feel free to shoot. I'm more than happy to answer. I'm trying to think of what else I could really show, because I've already showed all the encounters and stuff and all the animators that go with them. There is a secret fridge, which honestly, I kind of want to like make that better, which is why it's not accessible at the moment. Oh yeah, get the attic as well. I haven't actually shown off the attic actually, have I? Yeah, the attic. It's a lot of. I mostly have everything in the attic under one parent, so. But that's because of furniture and stuff. And then like I said, I have a furniture toggle, so you disable a lot of this furniture up here. And there's VR Pill. Oh my God, there he is. He's still up here. What's he doing? What are you doing up here, buddy? What you doing? That's pretty scary, honestly. What you doing? Let me free me from my cell. December, I decided that I will do nothing productive in VR chat use already. I'll probably just play games and get back into streaming fully. Honestly, me too. I'm on the same boat. I like working on stuff. Don't get me wrong. I like working on stuff. It's just that, like, I don't know. I kind of just want to chill in December. I mean, December's a nostalgic time for me in VR chat, so I kind of want to play VR chat more in December. Also, my birthday's in December, and then Christmas is in December. So I think December's a great time to just take like a break from working on stuff, just to and have fun and enjoy stuff with friends. You know, I will set up a Santa hat though. I do need to do that though. I will at least get like a Santa hat on my avatar. Like, you know, that's like the one model thing I'll probably do in December. Maybe I'll get a coat as well. I don't know. I haven't really decided about that yet. Oh God, yeah, the staff board. I will say one thing though. I was originally going to convert this to the Patreon Twitch supporter board, where I would put like the names of people who support on Twitch or Patreon. But instead of doing that, I decided to put it out here at spawn, because it's like right here at spawn. So this, oh yeah, you know what? I just remembered. Hold up. I just remembered. I need to add. Actually, no, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna do. There we go. I forgot that I need to add Reiji to the list, because he is supporting the map now, because he's subscribed on Twitch. I forgot about that. There we go. Let me just say that real quick. For sure, I'll probably be away from VRChat more than not, because I hit a point with VRChat. It's just reminding me of how I should be making stuff for the platform where I should be just enjoying it. The Jet Set World does not. Yeah, no, the Jet Set World's a lot of fun. I went there Friday night with my friends, and we went to check it out, and it was pretty freaking dope. I haven't had a chance to go back and do more stuff there. I want to at least 100% one of the things there. But I've been kind of busy this weekend because I've been playing a lot of Phasmophobia at night when I would usually get on VR chat. So I haven't been able to get back on to do more Jet Set Radio World stuff, which I do plan on doing that this week though. I am going to get back to doing that again. I do want to go back there and like try and do a lot of the stuff and get some 100% on there, because that's a fun world. I enjoyed the hell out of it. God, I'd imagine the lava stages are hard. Ugh. I was having a lot. I don't think I could be able to do that. So, congratulations. Congratulations, though. Ugh. God, excuse me. Sorry. But sneeze there. Let's see. But yeah, this is where the Twitch, Patreon, Twitch supporters are. I'm just gonna leave that there. Oh yeah, one thing. Whenever I add the functionality for the Patreon, Twitch supporters, I'll probably just have a button right here, and it'll enable like a panel that will be like the teleport panel, and it'll have like options for which area you want to teleport to and stuff. That'll be for the Patreon supporters. The special buttons for the Patreon supporters will just be like right here, and then the panel will be right here. I haven't set that up yet, but I do plan on doing that pretty soon though. So like I said, I'm not gonna make it too crazy. I think like the only two like Patreon specific things in the map will probably be one of the private rooms is Patreon only, and the teleport button controls here that let you teleport to any spot in the map instead of having to like go through the pipes and run there. So what about the barbell? It's like on player join. Oh, you want to know about the barbell? Oh yeah, sure. Here, one sec. Let me get over here real quick. 12-foot skeleton. Right, I believe. Yeah, this. Here we go. Let me remember how this works. Don't remember where the actual here one. Where is the bell? I think that's it right there. There we go. Spawn in. Here we go. So this is the yeah. Let me widen this a little bit because I kind of shrunk this down. There we go. So what happens is that I have a trigger where when the player joins the instance, locally, it'll play it local, right? So locally for you, when someone joins the instance, it'll play the audio, and then it'll make the animation for the bell to ring, basically. There's 2 bell locations, right? So the idea was that there's actually a bell location located here in the staff room. The idea was that if we were up in the staff room doing like chilling and we heard people coming in, I could know if I was up here and I'd be like, oh, someone's coming in, so I want to go back down to the bar, because this is supposed to be like the staff area, but it didn't really get used very much for that, so I might just take this bell out, honestly. But that's where the second bell came from, because the first bell is just, you know, on the first floor. So yeah, pretty much, if that's what you're curious about. But the actual trigger itself is just when someone joins the instance, it locally plays the bell for you. However, it'll locally play the bell for everyone, so it's pretty much synced at that point anyway. So yeah, that's how that works. Actually, funny enough, Owlboy was the one that told me about this system, because he has a system like this at the Great Pug. And I remember I think it was like 2018 roughly, I messaged him about it. So I was curious, like, hey, how do you have your bell system at the Great Pug set up when someone joins the instance? And he told me about it. He told me it was like how the trigger works and stuff. So it's very nice of him to do that. And that's how I was able to set up this trigger to where when someone spawns in, the bell dings so I can hear it. So it's a really great system, because like I know when someone joins the instance and I'm at the bar and I'm like, oh, okay, we have a new customer coming in, you know? So it's nice. It's really nice. So it's a good system. So there's still like a lot of things I want to do behind the bar. Like I want to make a more comprehensive button system instead of just having random buttons below the bar. Like they're just kind of like weirdly color coded right now. I mean, then again, the green and blue buttons are the ones anyone can press, but the red and clear button are the ones I can press. Only I can press. So, because like I said, I'm on the allowed list, so that's why. God, it's so much better to be able to do it that way instead of having to be the master of the instance. Because if I'm the master of the instance and I have to be the master to press the buttons, it's like if I disconnect, it's like, well, shit, now I don't have the buttons anymore. So it's so much nicer that I can do it this way. Oh, it's such a relief. You have no idea. Whew. I'm so happy. It can be very nice. Yeah. And they got the window blinds and stuff. Going pretty good. I do have an idea where instead of having stalls, I'm actually gonna have like a legitimate bath like house right here. Kind of like how like it'll be like an outdoor bathroom building, but it's not super big or anything. But the idea is that it's just like right here and you can walk out and it's like an actual proper bathroom instead of an outhouse. I do like the aesthetic of the outhouse though. But I do actually would like to add a proper bathroom eventually, just for the heck of it. Because these are not modeled by me. That's the thing though. Like these are not modeled by me. So I do want to like replace these eventually. So that's kind of I'm gonna be honest, that's kind of the general aesthetic of this map. Is like I've kind of been slowly going through everything and replacing it with stuff that I've modeled. So like the recent spring update I did a couple months ago, I replaced a lot of the furniture you see around the building with ones that I made myself. There's still a couple things in the building I haven't modeled myself, like the jukebox is something I haven't modeled myself. Let's see, what else is there on the first floor? Like these pumpkins, but that's just a Halloween thing, so I'm not too worried about that. I'm trying to think of what else on the first floor I haven't modeled myself, because pretty much everything I've modeled myself down here at this point. The aprons were given to me by Nap. A lot of the food items are still not modeled by me, obviously, so... yeah. Would still be in remote locations, such as in the caves. In regards... I don't know what you mean by that in regards to what? The bathroom? Oh yeah, the bathroom and I forgot about the outhouse in the cave. Yeah, I'm gonna probably leave the outhouse in the cave, because that's just funny. So... I mean, the gun and the broom I didn't model myself. I didn't model that myself. The pickup objects, for the most part, I didn't model myself. But, like, pretty much everything else that you see in this room has been modeled by me. Including the lights. I went back and redid the lights a while back to make them more proper, modeled from scratch. I won't say my models are perfect. Like, I'm not the best at modeling stuff from scratch, but I like modeling something from scratch and then putting it in my map, because I can at least say that I made it, so... And then I gotta go back and make it better. I'm not really good at quality work, though. That's the problem. Like, when it comes to working on stuff, like creative stuff, right? I'm not very good at attention to detail. I think for me, it's more like I look at the broad subject of what I'm working on, and then I implement it. But like, I kind of suck when it comes to like adding the finite details of something. Especially with like texturing. I'm not good at texturing. But like a lot of attention to detail stuff, I generally like don't remember, or I forget, or I'm not really good at implementing and stuff. So that's something I still got to get better at. So, but like there's some maps that I go to and they're just like really well done and put together, and you can notice there's like a lot of attention to detail. And it's like, I don't have that. I really got to get better at that, but I don't have that. So. Yeah, speaking of attention to detail, this room, which is my room, actually, as you can tell by the sign, I need to redo this room. I need to, like, I want to actually put, like, a bunch of, like, I want to put a bunch of, like, group pictures I've been in on the walls over here and stuff eventually. Because, like, this room is kind of outdated. Well, I mean, the bed's still fine, the desk is fine, I like the paintings, that's fine. These pictures are only from a certain period in 2018, and they haven't been updated since. And then these are really old too. And I still have a lot of room to put stuff on the walls, so I want to like expand this and put like a bunch of group pictures here on frames, and then I want to put some more over here as well. Like I really want to get around to doing that, because I've done a shit ton of stuff in VR chat at this point, and there's like so much stuff I want to put on like my wall and stuff in the Wanderer, that it's just like I got to get around to doing that eventually. So, a lot's changed. A lot has changed in 3 years, so... Ugh. But yeah. It's good. It's good. I took out the trophies because... I was originally going to add more of them as I did more stuff in Monster Hunter, but then I never got around to it, and I was like... I think these might be taking up more file size than they really should be. So I was like, I might as well just take them out, because, I don't know. I wanted to open up this space for something. I want to put, like, actual proper posters here eventually. So, yeah, I would say I just wanted to... I just didn't have any... I didn't want to have them anymore, so I just took them out. I'm still going to keep these, though. These are nostalgic to me. This one on the right is a picture from Ark Survival Evolved in the Redwood Forest. This one is from World of Warcraft. I took this picture back in 2013. This is a picture from 2013. It's a very long time ago. I took this picture in 2017, I believe. And then I took this one in 2018. This was actually a World in VR chat that I went to. And I thought the picture looked really cool, so I just kind of, put it there. So, yeah. So, yeah. I still need to update the computer stuff over here as well. I think my friend Sakamoto was the one that gave me the model for this and this, but like, I legitimately want to go and like model my own eventually. Like I said, there's still a lot of stuff here I want to model from scratch. I mean, the bed's modeled from scratch, the table's modeled from scratch. In fact, this table you see right here is the same one I have in real life, actually. I am literally using this desk in real life right now. So, that's literally what my desk looks like. So, that's why I modeled it exactly like that. So, And then also my chair. My chair basically looks exactly like this as well. It's like a basically I modeled it as close as I could to the one I use in real life. So, because I thought it'd be kind of cool to do that. So, although my bed's not exactly accurate, but you know, working with cloth physics in Blender was kind of fun, I would say. So, yeah. No, I'll tell you right now, my computer chair in real life is starting to break on me. Like one of the wheels has like half broken off, so like if I lean on that wheel, I lean farther than expected. Like the chair is still working fine, but I am gonna start looking into getting a new one once I get money coming in from my new job on Tuesday, which I'm excited for. I start working full-time Tuesday. I mean, I will say I am kind of worried that working full-time might stifle time I would work on doing creative stuff, but then I kind of realize, like, I'm not the most productive person. Like, when I work on stuff productively for the Wanderer and stuff, my schedule usually is like I work on the map for maybe like 3-4 hours a day if I'm really feeling it, and then after that I kind of like relax for the rest of the day, or I work on something else. So usually by default I usually work on productive stuff for like 3 or 4 hours of a day when I'm awake, which kind of works out pretty well if you have a full-time job, because like, you know, I start working at 8:30 a.m. I get home by 5:30 p.m., which means if I work on productive stuff for at least like 2 or 3 hours a day, I'll still have time to, you know, work on stuff. So it just depends on my motivation. Like I said, I think what's going to happen next is November is going to come around. I'm going to take the Halloween decorations down. I'm going to start setting up the Christmas decorations again, which shouldn't be too difficult because I already have a prefab for the last year's Christmas decorations. I might work on a new encounter, depending on how I feel. And then once I get the Christmas decoration done and I get all that set up, aside from a few minor updates, I might, oh yeah, also I need to, and then also we're going to be doing the public ornament submission. So if you want to submit an ornament to the Wanderer's Christmas tree, that'll, the submissions will open for that starting November. So I'll be sure to announce that as well. So. And yeah, Angie, I do understand that as well. Like I had that happen with one of my jobs where like I'll be sitting there working and it's just like I have all these ideas for stuff I want to work on and I really want to go and work on them. It just depends on how motivated I am when I get home. So, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm just gonna have to adjust to it. I think maybe these next like 2 weeks of October, I'm probably not gonna work on anything. So. If you work a full-time job and do productive stuff, especially free content like this, you should be as lazy and productive as you want. I mean, that is true. I mean, I say I'm lazy, but it depends on how I feel. Like sometimes I'll just have bursts of motivation and I'll just be like working at my computer, just like getting shit done because I'm just really want to see this done. Like that was me with the Horseman. I was working on that encounter like every day for the past roughly every day for like the past month. I was working on the encounter at least a little bit every day, and I was getting shit done. But then sometimes it's like, usually what happens is after a big content update for the Wanderer, I generally take a break for like at least a week. Well, not a week. I would say at least a few days. I think the most extreme example of a break I took was when was it? Oh yeah. It was right after the Wanderers Summer Festival that I did, where I went through all that stuff and I modeled it, and I did like all the festival stuff where I had like the, you know, cutouts of the buildings and stuff, and I did that update. And then when I finished that update and I reverted the map back to normal, I think it was like August by this point, I think, roughly. No, wait. When did VRCon happen? VRCon happened in September, right? I'm trying to think. Like, I remember taking at least like a 2-week break where I worked on nothing for 2 weeks, and I think it was like, mid-August to mid. I think it was like right after the summer festival, and then like it was like mid-August. I took a break from working on stuff, and then at the start of September, I started working on stuff again. So I took like at one point I took like a 2-week break from working on nothing. It felt kind of weird because like. I kind of felt like I didn't really have anything to do. I mean, I still played games and stuff, but like working on productive stuff is very fulfilling, I guess is the right word to say. when I work on the Wanderer, I do get like a satisfying feeling, and you get like once I get like when you get a little bit of work done a day, you feel satisfied. And it's like when I work on the Wanderer for certain updates, and I get at least a little bit done every day, it's like I feel satisfied, and that's like, okay, I've gotten this much done today. All right, cool. Now I can take a break and just chill and relax the rest of the day. And that's kind of my philosophy when it comes to working on stuff. In the same way, sometimes I do like 8 hours of work for a week, but sometimes I work on something for 15 hours straight. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. My philosophy is more like getting at least a little bit done every day, because if you get a little bit done every day, it builds up over time. So, I think I need to do Battlefield next month. You can join me and some other friends on that. I don't think I will. However, I do appreciate the offer, and I will let you know if I do change my mind. I don't think I have the console for it unless it's coming on PC. I mean, I could probably get into it if it's on PC, but if it's on like console, I probably can't because I don't have a console. I have a PC though. I appreciate the offer though. I'll let you know if I'm interested. I can't really see like what game prospects I've been doing recently. I've been getting back into World of Warcraft. Oh, it's on Steam? Oh, okay. You know what? Maybe then. I'll let you know if I get it. Don't worry. Yeah, if I get it, I'll let you know. Yeah, I haven't really been doing too much game stuff recently. I recently got back into World of Warcraft on a private server that a friend told me about, and I've been playing a bit of that recently. I've been playing a lot more Phasmophobia recently. Actually, funny enough, I think like once I finish this stream, I'm gonna probably do some Phasmophobia with a friend of mine. Because he might be doing some later tonight. I'm probably gonna stay up tonight because, you know, like I said, Tuesday is when I start working full time, so I can stay up tonight because I don't work Monday. So, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm not gonna leave just yet. I'm trying to think of like what else I want to show. Actually, I'm gonna go through my scenes real quick. Where was the I want to see what this version of the Wanderer is. I have no clue what the 2.0 version is. Hold up. I have a lot of scenes here. You can tell I have a couple scenes here. We're going to go through these scenes real quick, and I'll tell you the story about them. So, this is the Wanderer 2.0 scene. I don't actually know what this is. I think it might be an old version of the Wanderer I don't know about. The Lost Wanderer. Ooh. God. I was actually thinking about, I had this funny idea where, like, what if I mod the Wanderer, like the building of the Wanderer into certain games? I was thinking about doing that for Pavlov, and I was thinking about doing that for Phasmophobia, but I haven't really looked into it. Okay, what is this supposed to be? Oh my god, is this like a broken version? Hold up, wait. Oh, wow, okay, this is, oh, I see what this is now. Okay, this is like an older version. Oh my god, this is an old version. What the fuck? Hold up, wait, I gotta lower the terrain real quick. Wow, that is kind of scary, actually. Hold up. Oh wow, this is definitely an old version. Hold up. Not hard them. There we go. There we go. That's good enough. Whatever. Oh yeah, this is definitely an old version of the Wanderer. You can tell because I still have like these old trees, and I have this like weird rock in the corner over here at one point. Oh god, yeah, I forgot about this. What the fuck? Okay, hold up. What does the inside look like? Oh, I remember now. Yeah, this is the freaking Thanksgiving stuff I did back in 2018. Oh, I forgot about the round table. My lord, it's been a while. Holy shit. You can tell how much has changed. Like, if you take like a picture of this and compare it to the bar now, it's like, wow. God, there's so much stuff here. Shit. I'm looking through this, I'm like, wow. I forgot that this is what my map used to look like. Like, I don't even have the stuff on the ceilings. It's just flat ceiling. Oh my god, yeah, the stage is still pretty much similar. The pictures, the TV, yeah. You can tell like a lot of the stuff here wasn't modeled by me. No back grill. Yeah, there's no back door. There's no back door. I didn't add a back door at this time. This was like 2018, I think. God, the lighting's all broken. Jeez. Are there even other areas here? Oh my god, there are. Oh yeah, this was before I actually organized all the oh my god, Fred! He's a missing prefab. He's fucking dead. The fuck? What even is he? Wait, what? It's just like a plane. Oh, it's his name tag, but he's not actually he's not actually there. Yeah, he's just a name tag now. That's very sad. Yeah, this is definitely an old version. Okay, what is this one? Let's don't save that. This must have been like a test version I made. What about the Thanksgiving version? I think the Thanksgiving version was the version where like I only had the building and then there was nothing else, and that was just the version I had for Thanksgiving when everyone came together on Friendsgiving at the Wanderer. I think last year actually. Last year we did that. I think this is the map that we did it on, and it's taking a second to load, so gonna give it a second. Ooh, oh boy. I might need to go get refill my drink actually. I'll do it later. Nawooga. Taking a second to load. Body on. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I remember this. Yeah, because it was just like the 4 light post lamps, and then it was just like a checkered poured floor, and then the idea was that it was just the building itself with the toggles and stuff. So yeah, then here's the actual like long table that we had everyone sit at one point. Yep, I remember this. Yep. I am gonna probably redo this version, so I'm probably gonna delete this scene and just remake the scene from the current scene, because like the building's been updated since then. Like the lighting's all new and stuff. Like this version doesn't have bakery installed in it, so. What about the Far From Home version? Oh god, the Far From Home version must be super old at this point. Yeah, I can't believe it's been a year too since Thanksgiving last year. Doesn't feel like it has been. It doesn't feel like a year has gone by, but you kind of realize, yeah, we're already in October of 2021 at this point, and we're coming into the end of the year. Hey, I'll say, hopefully, I'll be exiting 2021 in a better spot than I was when I was entering 2021. I can tell you that much. Hopefully. Oh god. Oh my lord. We're in the cream dimension. Okay. Oh yeah, the skybox, I think it's broke on this version. Oh, I deleted the skybox. Yeah, I forgot about that. So there is no skybox. So. Oh yeah, this is the Far From Home version. This was supposed to be like the minimal version of the Wanderer, where it was just the Wanderer on a giant like floating island in space. We were supposed to be in space. But like I said, I haven't touched this version in like God knows how long. Oh yeah, this is so old. You can oh, the lighting. Oh my god, I forgot how weird the lighting was. Oh. Jesus Christ. Yeah, the bar is still super old. Still like all these different assets I used to use. Yeah, like the weird little thing I had here with the weird little finger grass. God. Oh yeah, this version had a video player too. I forgot about that. That's why I made it, because I wanted a video player version as well. Oh jeez, it's old, very old. You can tell my room is basically somewhat unchanged, aside from like changing out some of the building stuff. God, what else was there? So that's the actual Wonder version. The stacking world. Oh, I remember the stacking world. I really got to go back and redo the stacking world eventually, but I don't have any motivation to do that, honestly. Also, hi, Hoa. The punished version? Oh my god, the punished version. Hold up, wait. I remember this. Oh lord. Oh, oh my god, why did I make this? Oh, I remember. Okay, this is a fun story. I remember this. This is so stupid. I remember why I made this. So, god, it's so stupid. It was 2018, and it was Will Smith's birthday, and this was back when like I was associated with Punished Will at the Cupboard, so I made this world in like a single night to like celebrate the birthday of Will Smith, and I just have like my old avatar just kind of here, and it's just yeah, there you go, yeah. That's all you need to know. And then like the whole idea was that I was haunted by Punished Will. That was like some weird lore, with some lore we had there at the cupboard. So yeah, that was something that happened. There he is. They're like, "Whoa, you give me a hug, man? You give me a hug, man? Give me a hug, man?" And then like the idea is that you follow the story of the YouTube poop as you go up the stairs, and it's like there's different images and stuff, and it's like you can like put like a plot together. It's really stupid. It's so fucking stupid, but I'm giving me. I remember why I did it. It was great. Oh my god. Oh man. Yeah, brib, a leg in one hand and a brib in the other. I quote it way too much. Oh jeez. Yeah, and then like the story, like that's how he became punished. Yep. Yep. And then the idea was you would teleport up here, and then there would be like an like a mirror up here, and there'd be like an avatar pedestal up here and stuff. And I made this, and I only went here once, and then we never came back here again. So this is just like an archived like snippet of reality from back in 2018. Life was different back then, my lord. God. I actually still have this uploaded, by the way. I still have this uploaded as a world. Oh yeah, this is a test scene. Oh yeah, and then the old Wanderer. Okay, so that's pretty much all my scenes I have. So, oh dude, you know how cool it would be if VRChat added a system where you could load scenes in a world? So instead of making separate VRChat worlds, I could just have one VRChat world, but it has separate scenes that load. God, that'd be so nice. I would love that so much. Because then I could just have the Wanderer, but then I could have separate scenes for like different areas in the Wanderer. Like the underground cave system could be its own scene, and then I could just have like liberty to just work on that. I mean, I can still do that now. It's just I would have to make a separate world that wouldn't technically be public, but it would be accessible through a portal in the main version. So I have considered doing that. So yeah. Oh man. No, yep. It's loading the triggers, loading the Udon stuff real quick. There we go. And yes, as mentioned before, this version of the map is in Udon now, so I can do Udon stuff if I want to. I've done a few Udon things so far, so it's been pretty good. Other than that, not really too much else to show that I've showed already. So if you guys have any questions, you're welcome to shoot. I'll answer them to the best of my ability. Otherwise, I'll probably keep going for just a little bit longer, because I don't really have anything else to show with the map, and I can't really work on anything right now because it would probably take forever. Like the trigger system for the Patreon supporters would take me a while to set up because I'd have to individually place all the different points around the map, and I don't want to do that right now. And fixing the horseman encounter, that's gonna take me some Google searching of how to sync animators. I'll tell you that much. Oh man, pretty good though. I mean, I will say though, if you're curious about why I don't really have any other maps aside from the Wanderer, I think it's just because like my friend Y, for instance, has a lot of really good maps under their belt that they work on, and they're very good. Whereas one sec, any new ideas or future plans? I'll get to that question in just a second. Let me just finish my thought here. Like Y has a lot of really good maps under their belt, and they always seem to be working on like a new map and stuff. For me, it's like I always feel like there's something I can improve with the Wanderer. Like there's always like something that I can fix or improve, and like the fact that I do the innkeeping at the Wanderer really gives me the motivation to actually like improve the map. And I just always feel like there's something that could be better. And I also have like ideas for like exploration stuff in the map itself that kind of tie in with all the events going on. And like one idea I had, okay, this ties into your question, how about the ideas and future plans. I had an idea where I would take the Wanderer. Okay, so I would take the Wanderer building, right? I would basically just copy this scene, but then I would delete everything in the scene except for the building and everything inside of it. And the idea was that I would just make a whole new environment around the Wanderer. And the idea was that the story would be like the Wanderer is just like teleporting to different places. So like there might be one spot where the Wanderer maybe teleports to a redwood forest, and I would just build like a redwood forest during the day around the Wanderer, right? So one of my future ideas was if I wanted to try out new like environments and new scenes, I would still have the main version of the Wanderer, but then I would also have another version of the Wanderer where it's like in a different environment. like either a redwood forest or maybe a grassland or maybe like some weird location, just so that I could test out new environments and stuff for the fun of it. And that was one idea I had for future stuff. I think I would still have the main version of the Wanderer, but then I would also probably have like portals to the separate versions of where the Wanderer is in the actual instance itself. So instead of having multiple different worlds, I would only have the one public Wanderer, and then I would have the gateways to the other versions of the Wanderer inside the map itself. That was one idea I had. So I would probably make a device I would actually probably change the device in the basement that is like the portal device. Actually, I'll just show you real quick. And yes, a desert is also a good idea as well. Let me find it real quick. Basement. I was thinking actually, I want to click, there you go. I was thinking actually, if I ever go back and re-add the implementations for the portal device here, I would make it to where instead of teleporting you to a random spot, there'd be like a panel that would have like options for like what portal you wanted to spawn to what version of the Wanderer, and you could just spawn in like a portal that would take you to like, oh, the Wanderer in the redwood forest, or oh, the Wanderer in the desert. And I would have these worlds not public, but they would just be like accessible through this. Like this would be the only way to access them, to get to them. So yeah, like a level select basically, and it would just be like a fun thing I would do. Like if I just wanted to work on new environments and stuff and try it out, I would. I wouldn't add any like encounters or anything to those worlds, because you gotta have to understand. If I I forgot all this stuff is still enabled, but it's secluded anyway. If I were to update this version of the Wanderer with the building inside of it, and I have already made a copy of this version with the current version of the Wanderer in it, I would have to also update that version as well. And it's like, if I could find an efficient system to like just turn this entire thing into a prefab, like if I disable the Wanderer right now, you oh my god, it's like gutted. Yeah, it's like there's still like a lot of stuff inside the building that I want to like bring with it, you know. So it's like the easiest way to do this is to just copy the scene and then, you know, add it all back. But I think at this point the Wanderer is pretty like set up as it is. Like, I mean, the lighting is way better now, the furniture is from scratch. I think I would be fine with like copying this version and making a separate version and being okay with not updating it. Or updating it on certain occasions if I get around to it. Yeah, the main Wanderer acts as the hub world, yeah. And the idea is that it's just something cool to explore, and it's like a way for me to test new environments and stuff. The other idea I had for stuff I want to work on, I was actually talking about this earlier actually, is the I want to work on the outside area of the crater. That's like one of the next big major updates to the map I'm gonna do, and I've been saying that like for a while now, but I really want to get around to doing it finally. Is eventually we'll have like an outer area here that you can explore, and there'll be like elevators at each side of the tunnel here that'll take you up above the rocks here, and then you can like take a path out, and then there'll be like forest up here you can explore and stuff all around. But that's one big thing I want to do, because like I wanted to do all this stuff first to get the environment set up here and stuff, but eventually I did want to come back and like add all the stuff up here. And yeah, I would add stuff like maybe a river, waterfall, add some more environmental features up here, maybe some points of interest to go to check out, maybe some lore stuff, who knows. But ideally the idea is that if you want to go explore the map, you're not just confined to either the crater, which still has stuff to explore, or the underground area, like the big cave system, which you can still also explore as well. You could also explore like this area as well. And the idea, and the funny thing would be like, it would be a crater within a crater, because I would probably make another like outer wall system. So it would basically just be like a crater within a crater. That's the metagame right there, if I tell you that much. So I think that'd be kind of funny. So, or at least some kind of physical barrier that like won't let you walk off the terrain. So, or something like that. Who knows? That's one idea I had, though. Eventually, I would get around to doing that. So, oh god, excuse me. Ooh. But yeah, that's something I've been wanting to work on for a very long time now. But like, I've been getting so distracted by other projects, like the environment update for the Wanderer, where I redid all the foliage and stuff. The furniture and interior update, where I redid all the lighting and all the furniture. the summer festival where I was working on the getting all the festival stuff set up outside, and then the Halloween update where I was getting the decoration set up and the horseman encounter set up, and then now I have the Christmas stuff coming up. And it's like, I think what I'm gonna do is starting next year, around like the start of 2022, I'll start working on like outside area as like my main big next update, aside from maybe minor bug fixes and stuff, you know, and whatnot. And then I think like maybe spring, like around March 2022, we'll probably have like that update go live where I have like the entire outside area to explore here. That's kind of my idea, like my general guess. And obviously for the Patreon supporters, those outer areas will probably also have fast teleports to them, or maybe I'll have like a restriction where like you have to wait at least like 2 weeks before I add the teleports to the new area, so that you have a incentive to actually go there on foot. That's something I'll probably do for the Patreon Twitch supporters, obviously. So that's my general plan for that. So oh yeah, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Inji, your name is on the here, by the way. So you'll have access to the button here for the fast teleport system eventually. And Reiji, I think, recently resubscribed. So I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 people. And then Hornet actually supported on Patreon as well, not just Twitch. So he's a Twitch subscriber and a Patreon supporter. So I was very grateful for him. He's a cool guy. But yeah, I'm gonna get all this. Like I think the stuff I'll start working on these next 2 weeks will probably be getting this import system set up, because I'm not going to start working on Christmas stuff until November. So I'll get the teleport system all set up for this and hopefully get it done by the end of the month and start of November. So like I said, I'll say this again because I'm going to plug myself. I know. If you want to have a few special benefits within the Wanderer map itself, you can subscribe on Twitch as a Twitch subscriber. You'll get the benefits for that, and you can also pledge on Patreon and you'll get the same benefits as well. So you can either do Patreon or you can do Twitch subscriptions, whichever one works. So I decided to extend the benefits to Twitch subscriptions because I kind of realized that like the tier 1 sub for subscribing is the same price as the tier for Patreon as well. So I was like, all right, well, we'll just merge the benefits together. So I'm actually giving back to you guys for supporting like subscription wise on Twitch, which I really appreciate you guys doing that. It's been very helpful. And the money I get from that, I do kind of put back into working on stuff as well. So it's been good. So this is my thank you to you. So, and we'll see if we get more supporters as time progresses, but it's been pretty stable. I think like Twitch subscription wise, I think we have like about an average of 7 or 8. So yo, is that Flower? Oh, well, Flower, my man, I gotta put you on the list. Here you go. Hold up one sec. Live here at twitch.tv/Wildclaw101. We're adding my boy Flower to the list of Flower. Flower of Prime. No, sorry. Flower of Good. Okay, so I didn't mean to say Flower of Prime. I looked over and I saw you type I had a Prime, and as I was typing it, I just typed in Prime. So let me just, there you go. All right, good. There you go, Flower. You're on the list. By Hero. Thank you. Like I said, I don't have the special button controls added just yet, but I'm hoping that by the end of this month, I'll have them added. So like at the start of November, the Patreon only button will be here for you guys to use for fast teleporting if you want to. So that'll be the big thing. So kind of pog. Whew. Yeah, Prime is kind of epic, so. I gotta be honest, I gotta get back into gameplay streaming, but I've been kind of lazy about it aside from the innkeeping and bartending. I hope my full-time job doesn't like make me too tired, but I gotta start getting back into that Sunday night. We'll have to see. I just wanted to do a QA and development stream because I haven't actually done a proper map development stream for the Wanderer in a very long time. Like, it's been years since I've last done a map development stream. Because, like, whenever I work on a new update, I kind of like to keep it a secret until I make it live, you know? Like I want that to be like an experience for people. So I don't often do map development up streams because like if I'm working on something new for the map, I want that to be something people see when it goes live and not beforehand, unless it's like someone who's helping me test it, and that's the only exception. Yeah. So like when it like I still might try and do more Unity development streams, but it'll probably might be for like maybe updating things instead of adding new things. Because like I said, I want a lot of the new stuff to be a surprise for people who are well known, who know the map pretty well, you know. So I also want to get around to adding more secret stuff. Like I've been meaning to do that because I want to add like I don't know, like I want to add things that are off the beaten path that you wouldn't know about, but if you looked around enough, you would find them. And maybe like some kind of puzzle that involves looking around the map and trying to find like pieces of a puzzle to put together that triggers something. Like stuff like that. Like I think what's gonna happen is once I expand the area of the map to the outer edges of the outside, I think I'll start adding those like secret things you can do outside the map. And like the inside of the map will still have like all the points of interest, but once you go outside here, it's like there's a lot more to probably see. Hidden items in the dark, maybe like hidden symbols that correspond with like a key. I don't know, something like that, you know? But usually what will happen is like when I do an update, I'll probably add like a patch note that'll say like secret added or something. And it's like that's usually a good indicator of like, oh, he's added like some kind of new secret thing to find. So that'll be a good indication if you want to know when I added a secret. So, or at least that's what I'll try and do. So, generally speaking, because like I said, I like having secrets, and I like it when people explore my map. I really enjoy watching people explore my map. It's like so much fun. It's so good. Like I see people just like traveling around and experiencing the map, and it's like, oh man, I've put so much work into this map, and it's like it's paying off by seeing people enjoy it. It's so nice. It's such a great feeling. It's like it happens during innkeeping as well. Like I'll see people exploring, and I've gotten people that come up to me and they're like, man, dude, I really love your map. It's like really fun to explore, and I love bringing my friends here. I bring my friends here to like explore the map, and I'm like, oh dude, I'm so flattered. Thank you. Like I appreciate it. I do try to make the map one of those places that you can just go out and explore. I don't know if there's like that's why I like Jet Set Radio Festival so much, because it's one of those maps that you just go out and explore. Like there's nothing wrong with like smaller maps, but I do like the idea of there being maps that you can just go out with a group of people and just experience and explore. Something to do with people, you know? Which is what the Wanderer kind of is. It's like you can bring your group of friends here and just go around and explore. Like there's like the basement, the caves, the tunnels, the actual crater itself, and then eventually I'll have the outer crater as well. I also want to expand the cave system as well. I will say though, the file size for the map is getting close to 200 megabytes, so I'm gonna have to start doing some optimization as well soon for compressing file size. Fun fact, by the way. Oh, did the music just cut out? Oh, we're about 2 hours 37 minutes into my Lo-Fi Hip Hop Mix 2021. Okay, not bad. Yeah, I will say, fun little fact about the Wanderer. I don't know if this still applies now, but last time I checked, the building and everything inside the building constituted 80 megabytes. And the other half of the map was everything else in the instance. But like everything concentrated in this building and everything inside of it, like, constituted 80 megabytes. And I'm still trying to kind of figure out why that's the case. I don't actually quite know. So yeah, I think there was a way I could actually open up like a thing to check what took up the most file space, but I forgot how to do that. I don't remember how that actually works. So there's a way you can actually check what takes up the most files. I think it's the profiler actually, maybe. Oh yeah, I think it might be the profiler. Here, let's click play on the map real quick and see what that does. One sec. I just want to try this real quick. Oh, you probably can't see the window I have here. I'll dock it right here real quick, probably. One sec. When it loads the play, it takes a second to actually initiate play mode because like it's like loading everything in the instance. So, ooh, man, I've been talking for quite a while. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I'm enjoying it though. I like explaining stuff. Like I love explaining how a lot of this stuff works. It's always a lot of fun. And it kind of helps me kind of like not rationalize, but like picture what I'm working on. Like what happens is like sometimes when I work on new encounters, I'll just sit down at my desk and I'll talk to myself and I'll be like, okay, this is what I want to do. how am I gonna set this up, and I'll just kind of like talk to myself about like what I'm gonna work on, and it helps me. Like it helps me kind of picture what I'm gonna do. It sounds weird talking to yourself, but I don't think it's that weird. I think it's like some people just learn that way. So okay, should be okay. There you go. You can see it now. Okay, so this is the profiler, as I'm being told. And then here's CPU usage. I don't know. I don't know what these numbers mean. Like I'm still trying to figure that out myself. But as you can tell, there's like a good amount of stuff going on here. Audio, physics, networking, UI, global elimination. This is kind of how you would kind of like check the stats of your map. I don't know how to actually check like what takes up the most file size though. That's the problem. But I thought this was kind of interesting to show when you press the play button on your map. So this is kind of a good way to like optimize things if you want to get around to it eventually. So like there are some things I probably still need to like isolate and fix eventually. So I click the play button again. Oh yeah. I would recommend updating your project if you can to 2019. The Wanderer is currently on the most recent Unity version. So I always try to update my map as soon as possible whenever a new Unity version comes out, just because I don't want to have any issues with having older Unity versions uploading the map. Because you have to understand, I tend to update the Wanderer regularly, so it works out when I have a more recent version of Unity. So generally speaking, at least. So it's good though. It's good. Okay, one sec. I got a Discord message to someone real quick. Oh, thank you for the profiler. Was something about cloth settings and need transfers? Yeah. If you have like cloth physics in your if you're talking about like an avatar project with cloth physics, yeah, you might have to look into getting that. Like, there's like a system. I think there's a method you have to do that, but I don't know anything about it because I don't use cloth. So, yeah, one sec. Alright, there we go. Sorry about that. I was just typing to someone real quick. Yeah. No, I mean, I'll tell you right now, I did have a bit of difficulty converting this map to, I don't think I had too much difficulty converting it to 2019. I don't think I ran into too many issues. I think I only had like maybe one minor issue, but it was fixed pretty quickly. But I had more of an issue converting the map to Udon, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's such a like minor like oversight of my own that I can't believe I forgot. But if I go to, again, it was, I have to find it real quick. Here we go. The tags and layers. I think it's tags, right? No. What was the where was it at? It was here somewhere. There was like okay, I gotta find it real quick, but there was a command line or something that I had to put. I know you can't see it on the stream right now, but I'll put it in a window in a second for you to see. But there was a command line that I had to put into a certain. Oh, here we go. I found it. Okay, one sec. Here, let me just slap that right there. There we go. So this is the project settings, right? When I was converting this map to SDK3 or Udon, what I had to do is I had to go to scripting define symbols, and I had to I can't see it very well, but I had to take out the VRC SDK, VRC SDK2 define symbols, because if I didn't take it out, it would break the project, because, you know, like, it was Udon. So Udon would automatically add the SDK3 one, I have highlighted right here, but it would still have the SDK2 one, and in the project, Udon stuff wouldn't understand what it had to look at. So I had to take that out, but I had so much issue because I didn't realize that. So I was just like sitting there floundering like a fish, trying to figure out like why is Udon not working? Like, what is the issue? And I remember spending like I think a few days trying to figure out why I was doing that. And then eventually I realized the oversight, and I was just like I did that. I face planted so freaking hard. I was like, damn, I can't believe I forgot about that. So I was like, yeah, so So yeah, it was kind of a heckin' doo-doo. So I will say, by the way, guys, we are going to be wrapping up here relatively soon. I'm actually going to be joining my friend Sam for some Phasmophobia pretty soon. So we are going to raid his stream when he starts, but he hasn't started yet, so we're just going to kind of chill here until then. I'm actually going to go grab a drink real quick, so if you guys want to stay here for just a moment, I have to go get a drink. I am thirsty. One second. I'm back. Sorry about that. All right, there we go. So I had to go get a drink. I was thirsty. It like when I talk for too long, I get thirsty. So I mean, obviously that's gonna happen. So it happens. So oh man. Let's see. What else could I do right now? I'm trying to think of like what else I could show you guys, because I know I've shown most of the back end of the Wanderer. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, this is the perfect time to ask. If you're curious about anything whatsoever, like the Wanderer, the innkeeping, the bartending, the stream, anything, I am more than happy to take answers. I'm more than happy to take questions. So, because I love explaining stuff. So, otherwise, let me see. What else could I show you guys? Let me go to the back end here real quick. I will say, just got here. Howdy. Hello, Hornet. Hi. Sam, how do I do lighting? Oh, my dear friend. All right, hello, Hornet. Hi. Welcome to the Q&A/Wanderer Dev stream. We've been here for quite a while. I've been showing a lot of the back-end stuff, like the encounters and stuff. And Sam has asked a beautiful question. He has asked, how do I do lighting? So it's kind of complicated. Obviously, if you want to know how my lighting settings are working, my skybox is set up in this window of the lighting system, and this is my lighting settings here. So you want to take a look at these. So I can do real-time lighting, but like when I change it to bakery, it just look the same. I guess it depends on your baking settings. I mean, if you want to know my bake settings, like here it is. A few tips of advice I could give you. I recommend you set your light map size as high as possible, because it sounds counterintuitive, but the larger your light map size, the more optimized it is, because it makes like more cleaner atlases, I guess, because like when your light map size is large enough, it'll like divide it into smaller ones. So that's why you want to make it as big as possible, because it'll optimize it more. It's hard to explain, but there you go. I will say this is like the normal light map setting window. I tend to use this one, which is the bakery one, but there are still some settings here that do apply regardless. So, quick, Ethan still has settings. I mean, dude, if you want to take a picture, go for it. I won't stop you. This is like what I used to use with the original light map settings, and then the bakery stuff just adds a lot more onto it. Honestly, like I said, you want to set your max resolution to the highest you can. That's my recommendation. Dominant direction. The only reason I have dominant direction as a setting is because I actually do have a directional light in the scene. You may not notice it when you're actually in the map. But if you turn off post processing, you will notice, like, you can see it you can actually wait, never mind. You can kind of see it like right here. Like, this is lighting from the directional light up there. That's the moonlight. So I do have like moonlight settings right here. So that's why I have it set to dominant direction. So, and then all the other stuff is just kind of, you know, it works for me. So, and then bounces once because I do have indirect lights. Indirect lighting, which if you want to know what indirect lighting means, indirect lighting basically means when this light bounces down here off the surface, the light will bounce up once. So it's like set to 1, so the light will hit the surface, bounce, and then stop here on this surface. So it'll still light all this stuff up normally, but then it'll also light up the ceiling because it's bouncing and hitting the ceiling like a normal light would in real life. And then the indirect intensity of the light itself is what sets how intense the light on the surfaces, because this ceiling isn't being lit up by this light because these are all spotlights. It's being lit up by the indirect light that's bouncing off the floor and hitting it. So yeah, it does also depend on your lighting settings as well. Like if you want a good example, where is my lighting? There it is. I have all my lighting under one game object for some reason. I tend to just do that because it works. So I don't want that one. I want, here we go, spotlight. So this is like well, actually no, this isn't really a good indicator actually. Here we go. It's called a point light, but it's technically not. Actually, the light's already baked. I forgot about that. Yeah, so it's not going to show it, but I think if I remember correctly, this is technically a spotlight. And then here's my like baking settings, so the actual light inside the end. You can tell that the indirect intensity is pretty high because I want it to light the ceiling up as well. So that's why when it bounces, it comes up and it lits this up. The only downside to this is that you may notice it when you're standing in the live version. If you stand directly under one of these lights, you are very bright. That is why. Everything else is fine though. But if you're standing like directly under the light, it's kind of bright. Other than that, I mean, it depends on your world, I guess. Like I'll tell you this much. I did have to tweak the lighting quite a lot. Like I did have to sit here and I would use Bakery Preview. I'd open a preview and then I would open a preview. Like I'll show you real quick what the open preview looks like actually. Be able to put a light or two above the picture board. They're always kind of hard for me to see. I probably should. The biggest issue is that the pictures themselves are dark because they're taken in a map that's dark. So I will try that though. Oh yeah, this is what the preview looks like for Bakery. So right now I'm previewing what the lighting would look like without baking it. So obviously if I turn like this, it looks weird, but you know, like this is how I preview what the lighting looks like before I bake it. So and yeah, I probably should do that. Like if you look at this, it's like, yeah, you actually do have a good point. Like it is kind of dark to see that. I will probably attach a little spotlight here. You need an RTX to preview, right? No, you don't. I don't have an RTX graphics card. I have a GTX 980. You don't need an RTX to preview. The preview stuff comes with Bakery. So, well, actually, no. Does it come with Bakery? If the preview stuff doesn't come with Bakery, I can send you the thing to preview the lighting, Sam. I'm pretty sure I already have it. Because you already have Bakery, so I can just send you the Bakery preview stuff. I think it's a separate thing, but I can send it to you if you want. So just let me know if it's a separate thing. I don't actually know if it's a separate thing or not. I think it is for previewing. I'll have to double check though. Yeah, no, the previewing the lighting, it sometimes works. I've had a few issues where it kind of is weird, but like it should work for the most part. So throwing a lighting filter of them can help. Yeah, then again, these are all one image. Like this is an atlas, so I could just go back and edit the atlas to be brighter, honestly, if I really want to. Like, yeah. I mean, hell, I could make this an unlit object so it's just lit up all the time no matter what, but that would look kind of weird. But I might just put a spotlight and brighten the image up actually directly. So Yeah, if I remember correctly, you should just be able to go bakery. No. Settings. Yeah, you can create lights with that. I forgot about that. Oh yeah, preview. No, that's the wait. Is that the actual right one? Oh wait, yeah, I think it might be a separate thing. I'll let you know. I'll have to look into that tomorrow, I think. But I'll get that over to you if you can, because it's helpful. Because I had to tweak the lighting a lot to get it to look right in the Wanderer. It did take a lot of tries to get the lighting just right. So the preview definitely helped save me time because I didn't have to sit there and bake the entire thing. So I was like, oh, thank God. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to lighting, it just depends on your lighting settings. I always use baked lighting because I don't have any like real-time lights. I don't use like shadows or anything. I would use mixed lights, honestly, if you're gonna do lights that aren't static, because mixed lights are, I think, better for performance than real-time lights. I think, I'm not actually quite sure about that. You have to, yeah, don't quote me on that, but yeah, for the most part. So, oh, okay, yeah, it looks like Sam has wrapped up for. Sorry. I think that's pretty much gonna be it for me tonight. I think I've pretty much shown everything I wanted to. If you are late to the stream, you are welcome to tune back into the VOD. I did go through some systems in the map itself, so if you're looking to watch that, you can. I'm gonna go ahead and join Sam for Phasmophobia because he's starting his stream now. We're gonna go ahead and raid him. So I appreciate you guys dropping on by for the development stream. I really do. Thank you so much. I will try and do another one of these eventually, I will say. I do have a lot of fun doing them. I want to get around to doing another one eventually. I'll let you guys know. So yeah, you guys have a great one. We're gonna go ahead and raid Sam because he has started streaming, and I'm gonna go join him for Phasmophobia. All right, boys, go say hi to my boy Sam. We're gonna scream at Ghost. Ghost of fun.